We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this storming world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to end those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. We have no way to know where they are headed for. See and right from afar, just blaze through the storm. We know it's right over there, something is there. Whatever is arriving, we'll be prepared. We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this storming world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to end those clouds above the ground. We're gonna hear the shivering sound. The way to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. The day to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. Oh, we will see. Come with me, take the journey. We will see. Come with me, take the journey.
Get rid of the press from the rusty time, those years. Don't stay in a daze looking for a sign. Start and try. Run across fields of ice, but hidden in starlight. Be well aware of roads we've gone by. Put yesterday's aside, meet the future head on. Now trailblazers keep credos in mind. One, stop staying within the lines. Two, we always align. Four, never care and report hindsight. Five, let us live the night. Six, even when there are wills within, we'll go ahead. Get it pulverized.
Wrapped in biting wind, hearts will never bleed. Frozen and vanished out of greed. In their restless dreams, the try so hard to breathe. Pulses flutter and sting within this bleakness. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rend those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. The only warmth remains in hands clasped so tight. The only fire exists in brave hearts. Seasons that refuse to change over the years will find their way back on track. We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rend those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. We have no way to know where they all head for. See them lights on fire, just blaze through the stars. We know it's right over there, something in despair. Whatever is arriving, we'll be prepared. We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rend those clouds above the ground. Wake up to hear the cheering sound. The way to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. The day to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. We will see. Come with me, take the journey. We will see. Come with me, take the journey.
from the rusty time dossiers. Don't stay in a daze looking for a sign. Slide and try. Run across fields of ice, but hidden in starlight. Be well aware of roads we've gone by. Put yesterday's aside, meet the future head on. Now trailblazers keep credos in mind. One, stop staying within the lines. Two, we always align. Three, even if we don't get the upper hand, we'll fight for right. Four, never care and rip for hindsight. Five, let us light the night. Six, even when there are wills within, we'll go ahead. Get it pulverized.
Wrapped in biting wind, hearts will never bleed. Frozen and vanished out of greed. In their restless dreams, they try so hard to breathe. Pulses flutter and sting within this bleakness. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up to death, bond and crown in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rid those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. The only warmth remains in hands clasped so tight. The only fire exists in brave hearts. Seasons that
我这就去叫人！来人！来人啊！
跑，就知道跑。
我叫的不是你们！
这家伙就是老大吗？快，让老子来！你们这些小崽子，给我让开！凶神恶鬼，有老子阻你！还不快滚！无丑之鬼，只属性命，继续来去，不得久天，积极如律令。完事儿。
我还是赶紧写辞呈吧。
切。
打开微信，搜索公众号“星际老男孩 SC Boy”，这里有每日的直播预告、重要的赛事报道、精彩的视频剪辑、有趣的主播八卦、定期的抽奖福利以及爆笑的节奏和评论。关注 SC Boy 官方公众号，365天每天更新，让你与20万猛男一起更便捷的享受我和黄哥给大家带来的快乐。不要告诉别人哟。
to celebrate.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second broadcast of the night. We just wrapped up with the Sparkling Tuna Cup, and now, 40 minutes later, we're here with World Team League WTL 2023 Winter, day number 3 of round 9, the final day of this round of this week. Ooh, we're going to be wrapping things up here with our first best of 7 of the night, Majorino Esports versus the Starving Camels. Oh my, honestly a pretty close series here. Both teams, they have been kind of struggling in their own way here leading into this season of WTL. Again, it has been heartbreaking to see the Starving Camels without their ace player, without Firefly, but they are trying to make do without him, and we'll see if they can. Up first, we have Nightmare versus Tudming, followed by Estrella versus Cyan, and we end it with Future versus Silky in a TVZ. Oh boy, again, Nightmare coming in as arguably the ace player, the favored player here of Maturino Esports. Can Tudming cause an upset? Now, when it comes to the Starving Camels, they are renowned. They are known for their preparation, for their upsets. Can we pull it off? In the bottom right-hand corner, we have, for the Maturino Esports, Nightmare. And in the top left, we have, for the Starving Camels SSLT, it is Tudming. Here we go. Again, we have seen players like Tudming, Cyan, Silky, and Firefly in seasons past cause these upsets, come in with hyper-prepared, hyper-specified builds here to snipe and shut down players, whether it's in Game 1 or Game 2. I want to believe that we can continue to do the same here in the winter season of WTL. For now, though, it is going to be an uphill battle, and for now, a big shout out to the sponsors, Doyu, Honkai Star, Taido, and Autofool as well. Of course, I love these sponsors for this season of WTL. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. We would not have this event. We wouldn't have Masters Coliseum, Kung Fu Cup. StarCraft would be worse off for it. So, uwu, everyone. Uwu. Honkai Star is the anime gacha game that you saw an ad of earlier. Much love. For now, we're getting into our openers. Hatch gas pool here from Tudming. Everything looking normal, everything looking quite standard for the time being. But we are loading into Oceanborn. Oceanborn has a shorter rush distance by ground, so we have seen quite a lot of all-ins and aggressive styles on this map. Now, you can be very secure on 3 bases. Your 3-base setup is, you can actually fortify yourself quite well here, so it can be difficult to break that. But the 4th base, that's when things get a little bit more uneasy, and that's when you can maybe create an opening for your opponent to try to take advantage of you. So we'll see if the game does go on that long, especially considering I'm talking about Tudming being aggressive. I'm talking about Tudming maybe coming in with some kind of all-in or some kind of timing attack ready for Nightmare. I shouldn't ignore Nightmare. The fact that Nightmare is also a player that thrives in the mid game. He's a very aggressive player. We saw that come into play a couple of days ago. Last week even, or I said a couple of days ago, in Kung Fu Cup, a couple of days ago in Kung Fu Cup, we casted Nightmare versus Lambo. Lambo did so well making it into the quarterfinals. Lambo, he took down Beyond. He took down Beyond a couple of days. We were the only people to cast it as well. But if you're interested in the VODs, it was an amazing series. Lambo versus Beyond was beautiful, and that led into Lambo versus Nightmare in the next round. And Nightmare mates with DTs with Dark Templar, with Glaive Adepts. Nightmare just had his way with Lambo in that best of 3 series, and did end up taking him down. It was a little bit bittersweet. It was great to see Lambo do so well, but his run was cut short by Nightmare in the end, and that just goes to show how dangerous Nightmare is as a player. Again, doesn't necessarily, I mean, he can play standard, don't get me wrong, but he can always whip out aggression, and already the Void Ray is on the way. So it's a Stargate opener from Nightmare, which is normal, but it's going to be a Void Ray first. The goal of this Void Ray, the role here, is to shut down Overlords and keep Tudming in the dark as to what comes next. Could be a Twilight Council, could be a Forge, could be a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon to get into Sky Toss. There is a lot available here for Nightmare to whip out, and Tudming will have a hard time figuring out what exactly it is. It could even just be standard play. It could even just be a 3rd base. Tudming has to try to piece it together. There it is. We have a Twilight Council on the way, a Gateway as well. So far, no Forge. The longer this goes on without a Forge, the more this screams Glaive Adepts. And I mean, hey, this worked against Lambo the other day. Like, again, A very aggressive follow-up here from Nightmare. There it is, 3 gates are in production. It's going to be 4 gate glaives from Nightmare. Now, this should not be an all-in, but if we have stayed in gas, we haven't seen the gas count yet and how much is being mined from the gases, but if we're staying in, this could be Glaive Adepts into Dark Templar, or it could just be Glaive Adepts into a third base. And there it is, third base is on the way. And we have stayed in gas, actually, bear that in mind, so we can tech up a little bit further here as well. We have options for Nightmare. For now, again, third base is being taken. Nightmare is going to be moving out with his first Void Ray, just keeping his opponent in the dark, hunting down as many of these Overlords as possible. We already got one, and we're looking to get a second. And nice pickles here so far from Nightmare. Behind this, Toonming is going for a Roach Warren. Oh, a bit of a late Roach Warren, actually. That was around a 4-minute 30, 4-minute 40-ish Roach Warren timing. And unfortunately for him, we need Roaches sooner rather than later because the Adepts are coming. Here's that follow-up. We spoke about the additional gases, and we're getting into a Forge for +1. This should be leading into Blink Stalkers as well. So again, we're just working on that next step once the Glaive Adepts get their damage done, and we'll see if they can. We'll see if Toonming is going to be ready for it as... Oh, he's droning! Toonming, he just made a wave of drones. Ay. And here come the Adepts. They're going to be zooming across the map. Toonming has very little on the ground to defend. He now spots the Adepts coming. He just made more drones! No shot. He just made another wave of workers. Toonming, we need roaches! No, we need roaches right now, and he has been droning hard. Toonming up to 65 workers. The Adepts do reveal themselves. We do have a decent amount of links, and it's not like an all-in amount of Adepts, but we make our way in between the bases. Roaches still on the way, and mate, we can go for the mineral lines. We're going for secure damage. We're going for the Roach Warren even, and we're going to get it. Oh, the Transfuse. Transfuse is going to keep it alive a little bit longer, but the Roach Warren will go down. Oh my god. Nightmare, instead of going for economic damage, which he totally could have done, he totally could have gone for worker damage. He goes for the Roach Warren, and that will make his follow-up that much easier to execute. It's a big delay on Roach production, big delay on Roach speed as well. Only 4 Roaches were made, which again is why I believe that we could have done a little bit more here. Nightmare taking a more conservative approach instead of going for those drone kills, just threatening shades and working on his +1 and blink. So very careful play here from Nightmare. Doesn't want to throw away his advantage, and he does have one. Oh, gonna get a queen. Going for another queen as well. Now, what I will say is that because Nightmare didn't go for worker kills, the economy of Toonming isn't too bad. He joined up to 65, and he wasn't punished. He should have been punished, but he wasn't punished for it. So far so good. No, that was a kill. No, that was a kill in the 4th base, not a cancel. Ay. The Void Ray went ham and killed a hatchery. Not like this. I was about to say that the economy is looking good for Toonming, and he should be okay, getting into his Roach army, but alas, that is 300 minerals down the drain. That's a big delay on the 4th hatchery as well, and hopefully Toonming can keep this hatchery alive as we force another cancel. And here we go. Toonming, he's cutting workers at 3-way saturation, 61 drones. That's all he has. That's all he needs. And Toonming should be going all in. Now, it's still a couple of seconds away from +1 and I almost said charge. +1 and Roach speed. But regardless, the upgrades are on the way. We have 4 Overlords as well, and we're sending everything across the map. Toonming, one way or another, the game will end. Either he kills Nightmare or he dies trying. Adepts, they commit to the shade. They get into the mineral line. We do take a moment there to attack. At the same time, we have Stalkers lying in wait here, holding the ramp. We dive on top of the Ravagers. The Biles, they will barely not connect, and we can take good trades here. Nightmare shutting Toonming's army down. GG gets called, and Nightmare will take game number 1. GG. Well played. A solid game there out of Nightmare. Again, it's really interesting. It was an aggressive opener from Nightmare, an aggressive follow-up, I should say. Void Ray into Glaive Adepts. And he could have gone wild. He could have gone crazy in those mineral lines, but no, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna just kill your Roach Warren. I'm gonna skirt around the edge. I'm gonna kill some queens, and I'll kill you with my follow-up instead, and make sure that you have a hard time getting into our own Roach production, get into +1, get into blink, and yeah, just really solid play there out of Nightmare. Very well done. Very well done. Meanwhile, for Toonming, unfortunately, wasn't able to keep up, wasn't prepared for the Glaive Adepts, even though they didn't kill his workers. Because he didn't make any roaches, he couldn't protect his Roach Warren. It's, damage was still done nonetheless, and Toonming was just unable to get a read on what his opponent was up to, and was just far too greedy as a result. I say too greedy, Well, he didn't know that it wasn't safe to be greedy. That's the thing. He just didn't know how much danger he was in until it was too late. Until it was far too late, and with that, Nightmare does take the first game, but now we're getting to game number 2. This is going to be Tuning's map of choice, and this is an interesting one. We're loading into Alcyone as game 2, and this is considered by everyone, to be a very macro-oriented map. A lot of bases to be taken, a very secure 3 and 4 base setup. This feels like we want to get into a longer game, but we'll see if we get there. In the bottom left-hand corner for Matcherino Esports, Nightmare. And in the top right, we have for the Starving Camels for SSLT, it is Tudming. Here we go. Now, there's a bit of a give and take here. On the one hand, a very macro-oriented map here to get into a stable 3, 4, 5 base economy. We've seen a lot of split map scenarios here on Alcyone. This is basically like the new Gressvan. If you're familiar with the previous map pool, if you're familiar with Gressvan or Data C before that, you know, there's always a map that is kind of renowned for just split map play, just really long late game matchups. That's kind of what Alcyone is turning into. But there's also the goal bases. The goal bases are also something to factor in, and we have seen a lot of Zerg players like a Laser, Lambo, to name a few. I think even Dark has done it once before as well, where you can actually take the gold as your natural, or even take the gold as your third base, and try to take advantage of it, try to sneak away with it, run away with it, and go for an all-in, making use of those gold minerals. We can see here that we haven't taken it as the natural, so it looks like Tudming isn't really planning on rushing into the gold and trying to sneak it out, but it was a possibility. It is something you need to be wary of on this map. Alas for now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener here from Tudming. At least he wasn't forced to take the unnatural natural. At least his bases are where they should be, and we're just kind of easing into the early game, easing into our game 2. Meanwhile, Nightmare most likely is going to be going for a Stargate opener. Now again, because of the more macro nature of this map, I can't imagine we're going to be going Glaive Adepts again for a second time. Maybe DTs, maybe Dark Templar would be a good opener, just because DTs lead into an Archon drop, and that's a good way to just gain map control and, you know, shut down your Zerg opponents and keep them pinned back at home while you expand and take more bases. I'm curious what kind of approach Nightmare is going to take, especially considering that as a Protoss player, he's one of the more aggressive Protosses. So I'm curious. I am curious. For now, Stargate opener, which, you know, we assumed would be upon us. Stargate opener into what I would love, actually, is Void Ray once again. And from the Void Ray opener, we don't go for a Twilight Council and Glaives. We go for a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon. I would we've seen Nightmare do this before, and I wouldn't be opposed to it specifically on Alcyone. I mentioned before that it's very difficult to kind of break a player on 3 or even 4 bases. So may as well just rush ahead into something like Skytoss. That's a possibility. But we'll see. We'll see what Nightmare does decide to do. For now, Adepts are going to be threading a shade in towards the main. Stargate's finishing up, and do we go for the Void Ray or an Oracle? Which one do we go for? Now Nightmare just still trying to decide what he wants. There you know, like, look, I know that I went through the thought process myself, because it's like, look, if I was Protoss, I would do this, and then I didn't really think he would. Fleet Beacon is on the way, but okay, we're rushing into Skytoss. Let's go. It makes sense. This is a really good map for it. This is a really good map. Riders Station is the other one where you can just like defend, secure yourself, and we don't have the second Stargate, which is interesting. Is this like a mothership rush? Like, this is not how you typically rush into Skytoss. Only one Stargate. I'm really perplexed, actually. I'm curious. Tempest. One Tempest. We are making what, but we're still investing into tectonic destabilizers. Huh. Interesting. Now we get the second. Is this Stargate? I don't think it was intentionally meant to be this late. That's a late second Stargate, so it's gonna take a little bit longer to get into these Tempest. Yeah, okay. Really, a very different way of getting into this, but it's going to be double sliding into Tempest production. Now, this should only be 4. This should only be 4 Tempest, and then we go into Ground Toss. This has been a very trendy thing recently. For those that have been tuning into WTL, for those that have been tuning into KSL and ESL Asia, if you've been watching the CranKy Ducklings, you would know that this is a build that has been making its way through the Korean scene over the past month. Hero, Classic, Nightmare, they've all been embracing going for Tempest, then bam, into Blink Stalkers, into a ground army instead, hoping to force an overreaction by the Zerg player. This shouldn't be just like Tempest into Void Race, into Sky Toss, into Storm. Like it's not that kind of like Sky Toss rush. And you can see it already. Twilight Council's on the way. This should be for either Charge or Blink. Most likely Blink. And there's a Gateway Explosion. So again, we're hard switching into Ground Toss. We're going to be revealing these Tempests. And again, the goal here is to hopefully force an overreaction, force a Spire, and force out too many Corruptors. Meanwhile, Tudming, he's taking a 4th and he's going into a Baneling Nest. He's going into a Bane Bust. Oh boy. I mean, yeah, he's droning up a little bit here. His cutting work is at 49. That's a lot of Lings on the way. This could work. Like Nightmare, he's sneaking out with his Tempest. He has a lot of Tempest. He's still not into his Ground Toss army. There's 6 gateways on the way. I think that's 8 gateways in total. But Nightmare doesn't have a lot at home to defend, and Tudming is doubling down on the all-in. Mate, he's got a lot of Lings. A lot of Lings on the way, plus some is about to kick in. The Tempests are about to reveal themselves, but there's no turning back from Tudming. Things are about to get weird. Here we go, we're pulling the trigger. Queens are coming forward, Ling Bane rushing across the map. Where are the Banelings though? 12 Banelings. Oh, this is far away. Those Banelings are very far away. It's going to take a while for him to be able to bust down that natural. The Baneling's going to be walling in. Meanwhile, this base is going to go down. Blink on the way. We have a ground army. Can Tudming pull off this bust? I don't know if he can. Like, it's just taking so long. We can see the lair taking a lot of hits here. And here we go, the Bane Bust is upon us. We're trying to break on through. We do break down the wall initially. The gateway goes down. The Cybercore close to going down as well. Lings are going for a full surround. And it looks like we do get on top of the Stalkers. Blink is not done, by the way. We're chewing through the Stalkers. It's working. At the same time, bases are falling across the map. Things are getting very chaotic here. Cybercore goes down, the Overcharge doing what it can, keeping these Stalkers alive. Wow, the Stalkers, they survive the attack. The Overcharge did so much there for Nightmare. He lost 15 workers, but he holds strong. Meanwhile, these Tempests, they've gotten 2 hatcheries and they want the main. They're going for the main base. They want the lair. We don't want to overextend though. We do not want to overextend as we do chip away at this lair. The Queens, they cannot engage. We have a full wall off back at home. The Lings, they can't break in. GG gets called and Nightmare will take the series 2-0. Taking down Tudming. But things got rowdy. GG. Things got rowdy, but I want to believe, because remember, Tudming, he morphed in those Banelings so far away. They were towards the top left-hand corner of the map. If they were morphed in a little bit sooner, if we attacked like 10, 15 seconds sooner, like that matters. Every second counts in StarCraft. Every second does count. And you gotta go for it. And I do feel like Tudming was maybe a little bit too conservative with his Ling Bane all in. If he had hit a little bit faster, maybe he breaks the natural, maybe he breaks through that army, and who knows, maybe we can go for a proper base trade where we force a recall back home and things get even more chaotic. But regardless, GG, well played. Nightmare takes it. Shout out to Tudming though. He again made things very, very tense towards the end. Shout out to Tudming. With this, we're going to be getting ready for our second matchup here. It's going to be a best of 2 between Estrella and Cyan in the PvP. We're going to be going on a short break. We'll see you guys soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second best of two here of this series of this Team League match. We just wrapped up with Tudming versus Nightmare, and now we're here with a PvP with Estrella versus Cyan. And I'm excited for this because even though on paper Estrella, he's a little bit more accomplished, you know, he's one of the best players in the Americas region, if not the best player in the Americas. Cyan has been doing damn well recently. You know, it was a couple of days ago where we saw him, go up against Oliveira and take Oliveira down, and we were able to cast him there soon after against Dark, taking Dark to the ace match. Cyan, he's been really in form, but here we go in the bottom left-hand corner for Matcherino Esports. It is going to be Estrella. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have, for the Starving Camels, Cyan. This is LT. Here we go. Here we go. The PvP is upon us. Oh wait, okay, hold on. I was a little bit distracted. Here we go. We're getting to our best of two, and already we have a very interesting start to the game. I appreciate it here as both Cyan and Estrella are setting up for a gate expand. This is not normal here, and I love that both players are embracing this again. Hecate is more of a macro-oriented map. It is kind of more what we would be expecting to be seeing here, and yeah, gate expands are going to be upon us. We should be looking to try to take that natural base. Gases are being taken as we speak. A little bit faster for Cyan. So it looks like Cyan is going for a faster Stargate. He's going to be going Stargate into expand. Meanwhile, Estrella is going to be going for a faster Nexus instead. We're going to try to get away with a faster Nexus. Now, probes are just going to be annoying each other as much as they can. Delaying that Nexus for as long as possible here. Trying to one-up each other. And we'll see if this does lead into something like a one-base all-in. Now, Zealots are on the way. We just want to expand, but we'll just want to expand. Probe should be going for pylon blocks as well, just delaying each other. And again, I'm curious if Cyan is going to end up committing to that Stargate or going in a different direction instead. As Estrella does pull back into gas. Stalkers are on the way. There's that Stargate we were speaking about. Again, because Cyan got faster gases, it does make plenty of sense for him to go for a faster Stargate, which is now in production. Now, this Stargate should be for oracles to get across the map to get some economic damage done. And again, as we mentioned, Estrella is going to be the one with the faster Nexus. A lot of that just comes down to the gases early on. So we are going to be getting into this. Again, Estrella with the slightly better economy. Cyan going to be looking to get some economic damage to make up for that. Again, there's going to be a lot of pressure on this Oracle. As Cyan finally does get his expansion up and soon to be running. Going to be moving on out. We do have our tech of choice as well from Estrella, going for a Twilight Council even. Okay. Going to be going for his Twilight Council instead. Going to be for Blink. I believe the Probe Scout did see the Stargate as well. So again, Estrella is fully aware that he has to be ready for this Oracle, which means it's going to be that much more difficult for this Oracle to actually get damage done. And we'll see. We'll see if we can make some magic happen here. Shield batteries are finishing up. Now, if we invest into a second Oracle, we can, of course, ignore the shield battery and one-shot workers. So there's potential here for Cyan. There is a lot of potential. Cyan is moving out. The goal here is that Cyan wants to try to distract the ground army. He wants to try to drag the attention of these soldiers away from the mineral lines and create an opening for his Oracle. The Oracle actually going straight for that natural instead. We're going to be adding some DPS and going to be focused on the Stalker. Up! Oh, we cannot. The shield battery is just too strong, and Cyan gets forced out. Aye. So far, the Stargate opener has not paid off here for Cyan, but at least he keeps the Oracle alive. At least the Oracle does survive. We do get into this, and yeah, we're going to be throwing down the stasis trap instead. We have a Dark Shrine on the way. Again, there is a lot of pressure on Cyan to get damage done because he knows that he is behind economically. Oh, meanwhile, Estrella turning the tables on Cyan instead, going for the proxy gateway. Okay. Proxy gate is on the way here for Estrella. So far, he's keeping up with the oracles, zoning the Mac, forcing back that army. Hasn't seen the Dark Shrine yet. I believe there is no Robo for Estrella either, but it's on the way. It's in production here for our blue Protoss. He will soon gain access to that observer. Stalkers are moving out. Stasis Trap does get triggered here in the center of the map. Likewise, Cyan just trying to get in position. The Oracle taking a lot of hits. Oh, it does go down. Ay, ay, ay. And what is happening right now? Estrella behind this, taking a third base here out towards the top left. Going for a bit of a hidden nexus instead. Okay. As here we go, he's going to be forcing his way in towards that natural base. Getting a couple of shots in. Takes down some of those Stalkers, going straight for the kill. He does get eyes on the Dark Shrine. He sees, he knows. And he should be preparing back at home. Detection is on its way. It has arrived. No, it's moving out across the map. We need it back home. Come back. Ah. DTs have revealed themselves. Second observer does arrive just in time. And Estrella, he's holding. Meanwhile, across the map, he's trying to force his way into that natural. Again, he's getting ahead. We see Cyan also taking his own ninja base. What is going on? How are they so in sync? I mean, they're in sync, but Estrella's like one step ahead, which is wild here. So again, both players taking their own hidden bases. Estrella rotating around. He has Blink. He has high ground vision with the Observer, which means he can go straight for the main. Oh, he can ignore that army, go straight for the main base, and try to camp the production instead. He rotates around. The army has been revealed, and Estrella, he goes for the natural. Takes out a pylon, directions that Cybercore. Oh, that's going to be a lot of hits. The Overshot trying to keep it alive. That's going to be a kill in the Cybercore. That means no more Stalkers can be warped in. Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, Estrella, he does recall over towards that hidden base. Gets up fully up and running, operational. Oh my god. The half gold, mining freely. Cyan still hasn't saturated his own. Going for a blink for the DTs. Oh my god, we're doubling down. Again, understandable. Like Cyan, he's gonna do something here. Needs to come back in some way. From here, Cyan gonna be threatening his push. Proxy gateway gonna be shut down. So far, we haven't scouted. It looks like Cyan hasn't gone for his own recall, but oh, he scouts! The DTs, they come across the ninja base. Swipe away at that mineral line. They had 3 worker kills at the same time. Australia, he has to respond. He has to rotate back around. Does need to save this Nexus. There is detection. Oof. He barely does miss the army. Tries to hold position. Gets one. Gets one DT. The other does escape. With this Estrella, he still has a lead. Still up in army. The Dark Templar are keeping him at bay for a moment. But Estrella is moving out. Oh. We just see a moment of reprieve here as Cyan, he's able to hold on. What's important is that Estrella hasn't seen that hidden base, so he doesn't know that he has to push forward. Like, he's just thinking he's containing his opponent to 2 bases, so he thinks he's getting further and further ahead than he really is. I mean, he's still in a good position, but not as good as the other players would think, as he does dive on top of the army. The Immortal has arrived. A bunch of Stalkers go down. Cyan, these are just too many losses. He has now fully saturated his hidden base. DT comes back in, killing more probes. But Estrella, he can just keep on pushing. At this point, especially with that Immortal, yeah, he can dive on the army. in a head-to-head fight. Estrella, he has too much. He has the Observer as well for detection. He's going to back off. Does respect the overcharge. But again, he has double the army supply of his opponent. The Dark Templar, he's killed 26 workers. 26 probes have gone down. The economy of Australia is in shambles. We got to go. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Cyan. Overcharge has run out. Yeah, we just dive right into the natural base. The boys, they have to be fooled. Oh my god, but the concave wasn't too good. Cyan, can he hold? The Immortal! The Immortal's going to be focused down. The boys doing so much here. Again, we can afford to lose workers. Cyan, he is ahead by so much in that worker count. We can throw away some probes. And he does force back Estrella. And suddenly, Cyan is in the commanding position. Estrella, he still hasn't scouted the ninja base. He still doesn't know. Oh my god. Again, he still thinks that he's upper base compared to his opponent. And here we go. Cyan is pushing out. Now with momentum. Things going his way. We have a 4th Nexus in production as well for both players. And yeah, from here... he finally comes across it. He finally does come across the hidden base, forces a recall. Probes are going to be going down, and now Cyan is going to have an awkward time defending both locations at once. The Dark Templar, they're still going ham. They dive on that cannon. Stalkers are moving out. Estrella, now aware of how much danger he's been in. We have Immortals. Estrella going to be out positioning Cyan and gets on top of the base. He gets on top of the mineral line. Going to be evening up that worker count, or trying to. Still down 20 workers. Oh my god, the DTs, they're doing so much. They continue to just wreak havoc. Like another 9+ probes. Oh, sorry, 4+ probes. Estrella getting his own damage done. Ay. Okay. As thankfully this time there are Dark Templar, there are cannons and shield batteries set up in some of these fringe bases, so Estrella's going to be stabilizing his economy. He did get a kill on that Nexus. Now he's upper base compared to his opponent. Suddenly the pressure is now on Cyan. We'll be shutting down this gateway. Going for a backup 4th. It's just, yeah, it's really hard to call this situation here. I kind of want to give the edge to Estrella. I know that he's been losing a lot of probes. He's been bleeding out so many workers, but he's finally gotten a handle on the DTs. He's finally gotten site defense all over the place, and he's pushing forward. He has a much larger stalker count. Oh, we do see Cyan not quite in position, and denying this 4th is all Estrella has to really do. Just deny the 4th, and this time he's aware of the base count. This time he is containing his opponent to a much lower base count than his own. Likewise, Cyan, he hasn't seen that 4th. He's going for it though, but there is detection. There is an observer. Yeah, we force this back. Cyan did an amazing job here at just creating chaos, and at times was ahead. But it is slipping away. Another wave of Dark Templar coming in. Cyan pushing towards that 4th. Trying to. But again, there's just a massive wave of Stalkers waiting for him. DTs, they dive on the cannon. They get a kill! The cannon goes down! But we have the Observer. Observer's going to be coming in. Dark Templar get cleaned up. Not the most worthwhile trade there for Cyan. Overcharge just popped Estrella. He's holding on. Things still very tense. Very tense between the players. We have similar economies, similar armies. Both players working towards charge. Cyan does have the slightly better upgrades here with +2. Estrella, they're about to catch up, and at the same time going for a split push, trying to distract his opponent. That doesn't get too much, though. Cyan was ready for it. Oh, even punishes Estrella, shutting down 2 of those Stalkers. At the same time, Estrella pushing on the left, but the Immortal is lying in wait. We dive on it. Overcharge is help the Immortal, putting in a lot of damage here on this army, but it does go down. Estrella trying to brute force his way through, but the Zealots have arrived. He tanks some shots. The concave is real, and Cyan holds. Does hold on. Estrella losing 23 Stalkers in the process. Again, this can still go either way. One bad fight for either player, and that could be it. +3 in production. Around the same time for both Estrella and Cyan. He's going to try to move around. Did lose his Immortal earlier, trying to replace it. Speaking of, Estrella now up at Immortal. Does have the stronger army here on the left-hand side. Another Nexus being taken. Cyan has potential with this marauding army. He is kind of rotating around, sharking around the center of the map. He's going to back off. Likewise, Estrella trying to find that army. Figure out where he's going. Look at the unit tab here. You can see that Estrella, he is up quite far here in Stalkers. 50 Stalkers to 38. Jesus. Of course, Cyan is making up for that in Zealots and Archons. Yeah, the goal of these Zealots are just to tank shots. So far, the whole position. Holding on top of the ramp. Cyan catching another Observer. And yeah, Cyan, he's actually able to defend here with far less than his opponent, but Estrella, I think he realizes that. The Archons go down. Big pickoffs. Meanwhile, Cyan turning back around, getting ready for potentially a surround. Okay, he just comes back. he backs the hell off. Doesn't want to engage this army, not yet. Estrella has maxed, Cyan slightly behind, down 20 supply. But he's getting there. And again, we have a much better angle here. A pseudo surround coming in from Cyan. He collapses on these Stalkers. A lot of them go down. The Immortals exposing themselves. And the Immortals able to go down one after the other. Oh, Estrella having a really rough fight. Just caught out in the open. Got surrounded. And even though Estrella had a much larger army because of the positioning, Cyan traded better. Here we go. Likewise, so overextending a little bit does bleed out one of those Immortals. Estrella coming in with a harassing force of Stalkers. Not too bad. Picks off 3 probes. Oof. Gonna cost him a couple of those Stalkers though. Likewise, overcharges pop, but we just power through it. Another Archon goes down. Ay, ay, ay. But Cyan, he's catching some Stalkers. Yeah, he's overwhelming Estrella here on the right-hand side. At the same time, Cyan pushing him forward, trying to, hoping at least that Estrella is pulled apart, but Estrella, he stands strong. Even punishes Cyan. Like, Cyan is just trying to create these openings. Trying to force Estrella to split up his army. So far, Estrella keeping up. Getting into the rest of these upgrades. Cyan with +1 armor over his opponents, working on +2. Worker counts again, pretty similar with each other. Estrella has the better economy because of that gold base or the half gold. As he does expand, taking another Nexus. Where's the dissection, by the way? Okay, it's a little bit further back, but the Observer is on the way. No! Cyan overextends with his own, does lose an Observer. Big loss. The army is going to back off for a moment. We have the Bay on the way for Cyan. We're finally working towards Disruptors. We've been sticking with almost a purely Stalker Immortal Archon-based composition, but now Cyan is the first to kind of tech in that direction. First Disruptors on the way. And this could change everything. Again, Disruptors there, very hit and miss. Cyan trying to take another expansion here, but he's being overwhelmed. He has to cancel. Cancels the Nexus, forced back. DT's coming in. And while the armies are dancing, Cyan, he's hoping to sneak away with those Disruptors. I would love to see a second robo to get into double Disruptor production. For now, just one. Observer speed on the way. The Diver! It's going up! No! Oh, massive connection here on the Stalkers. Oh my god, and now we can break through. Cyan, he can push forward. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, massive connection. We do have the overcharge. We have to respect it. We do have to respect the overcharge. At the same time, Cyan forced to cancel on the right-hand side, but this Disruptor, it is going to reset. We can keep on pushing. Oh my god. Again, Cyan desperately trying to... He's been trying to take this expansion for quite some time, and he just cannot. Being zoned away at every moment. Second Disruptor's on the way. You thought one was good, now we have a second. Now, to be fair, Astray, he's aware. He's now aware of the potential of Disruptors. He's going to be looking out for them. He's going to be looking out for the Novas. Meanwhile, Astray gaining ground on the right-hand side. Once again, going to be forcing another cancel. Dark Templar coming forward. Ooh, that was a cancel on that Nexus. Never goes up. Ooh, doesn't connect. Clutch moment there. Good snipe from Estrella. Shuts down the Disruptor. But remember, there are two. There are two Disruptors. Unless we missed the other one. But you can see Cyan gaining ground. Cleans up all the Zealots. Finally establishing that base. Meanwhile, here comes that Nova. Estrella's looking. Is he? Oh, he is! We blink on forward, dive on top of the Disruptor. But another is coming out. Oh, again, been a very tense couple of moments here. Cyan slightly ahead in supply. Still desperately trying to break through this main army. Ooh, Estrella rotating towards the right-hand side. A risky move. A very risky move here from Estrella. He's abandoning his center base. That Nexus should go down. And we're pushing on the right. Zealots are going to be moving forward. We dive on top of that Nexus. I'll wait for the stream to catch up. As we dive on top of the Nexus, and we should be forcing a cancel at the same time, we do see Cyan trying to engage. Trying to come in here from the left-hand side as well. He dives on the army, past the bridge. The force fields are looking good. The Nova doesn't connect. Nova doesn't quite connect here. As Estrella, he has the better concave. Cyan, is he overextending? This is not the fight to take. Cyan, pushing a little bit too far out, takes a really rough fight, and Estrella is breaking through. We have reinforcements though. The Nova once again does not connect. We focus down the Disruptor. But Astray, he gets away with abandoning his base towards the left. The Nexus is still standing strong. DTs are coming in, but we have detection. Yeah, so many observers have died this game. But we have detection. The DTs went down. Astray taking a better fight. With this Cyan trying to force his way through up a ramp into a concave, like this is just not working out. Cyan, he may have the better upgrades, but we even have an overcharge behind this. Like these just haven't been good trades. Cyan desperately trying to take another expansion. He's down a base, down 2 bases even compared to his opponent. Templar coming in, but we have cannons. Estrella, I love that he's going into his own DTs as well. Into blink. We're gonna find a good angle here. Getting a couple of probes. Only a couple. Does drag some of the army out of position. Estrella trying to break through. Probes are going down. We're able to abuse the high ground even, and yeah, it looks like despite the efforts here of Cyan, and he had some really good moments this game, Estrella has too much. He just has the better economy. He's denying mining here at the right-hand side. Estrella skyrocketing ahead here in terms of supply. Likewise, Cyan, he's just been having some really rough engagements trying to force his way up a ramp. Just hasn't been working out. Estrella, he knows how far ahead he is. He knows he can just dive on this. But we have the overcharge. The overcharge putting in a lot of work. Does keep Cyan in this, does keep him alive, but did bleed out a lot of stalkers. And you can see that all Estrella has to really do here is just maintain this position. Do you have another Nova? Does not connect. From here we got from here we're going to try to force our way up the ramp once again here with a disruptor, but it's just not going to be enough, and you can see the disparity in supply is just getting larger and larger at this point. Estrella getting further ahead, taking even one of Cyan's bases towards the top left. Ay. Just another Nexus under control of Estrella, and he's about to max out. He's about to reach 200 supply. Another disruptor goes down. Not like this. Did snipe the observer, which means we can make use of some Dark Templar. We do come across one of the new bases here of Estrella. Once again, though, just focusing on so many of those probes. DTs are going ham. Estrella, he does have another observer. Oh, they're all over the place, though. As 8 more probes go down. Now, it's always difficult here for Estrella to push in. Like, again, it's one of those things where these Novas, they provide a lot of value, and the Novas, they connect. Oh my god. A good moment for Cyan, but does he have enough as the disruptors are being focused down one after the other? Not like this. But yeah, I was going to say that, like, we can never really commit here if you're Estrella just because of those disruptors. But the Novas went off. Now we can take a better fight. Oh my god. So many free hits come in. Alas, we did not have high ground vision. Never goes off. We dive in it once again. Here come the Zealots, and it looks like Estrella can finally collapse on this army. We do have a slightly better concave, but here come the reinforcements, and Estrella, he should have enough to overwhelm this, should have enough to break forward into the Nexus. GG gets called. And Estrella, after half an hour, half an hour of almost non-stop action, Estrella does take game number 1. Oh my god. GG. GG, well played. Estrella will take it, but that was a hard-fought win there. Again, there were definitely moments for Cyan where he was getting so much economic damage done with his Dark Templar, his first couple of Disruptors and Purification Novas, getting away with that hidden center base as well. It was mining happily for so long without any kind of contention, without any kind of any aggression from Estrella, as he didn't know it was there. There was a lot that Cyan was getting away with, but it just was not enough. Wasn't enough, which again is impressive that Estrella was able to withstand all of that and still come out on top. The resilience of Estrella is insane. And with that, we're getting to our second game. Cyan, his map of choice, Site Delta. Again, Cyan, he's the new ace player of the Starving Camels. If anyone can bring it back, oh, Uber Eats arrived. If anyone can fight back here in this Team League match, it's going to be Cyan. I want to believe. I want to believe. Here we go. DT's put Cyan back in the game. Kind of. It was the Dark Templar doing a lot of damage. It was, remember, the hidden base that, again, it was just mining freely for so long. The Disruptors are doing well. The split pushes of Cyan was impressive. Was impressive. Was just pulling Estrella apart. But at a certain point, I think I want to say the turning point actually was over time. Like the DTs initially were doing a lot, and then they weren't, and we just kept investing. We just kept making and warping in more and more DTs, more and more Dark Templar, and over time it was just diminishing returns. Where Estrella this time had cannons and observers and detection, and yeah, it was quite a big investment there that wasn't really paying off. Likewise, when it comes to the disruptors, we had one really good Nova to begin with, and after that, less so. We didn't really manage to get any connections. It's high risk, high reward with those disruptors. And I guess more importantly than all of that is the fact that Cyan took so long to take another base. He was stuck on 4 bases for far too long when Estrella was taking a 5th, a 6th, a 7th base. And here we go in the top left-hand corner. We have for Maturino Esports, Estrella. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have for the Starving Camels, it is Cyan for SSLT. Oh my god. Hello. Hello there, is Estrella. He throws down his first pylon out in the center of the map. We saw something similar to this on Oceanborn last week, if I recall correctly, where we went for a proxy gateway and a proxy cybercore, if I'm not mistaken. There's the gateway. Are we going to proxy the cybercore as well? I imagine so. Who was Estrella playing against last week? I can't remember. It was a PvP. Let me just double check. I was Estrella versus Nice. There we go. Now it's coming back to me. Aye. It's going to be a proxy 2 gate here from Estrella, barely outside of his bases. And Cyan, for the time being, comes in for a scout in the dark, not aware of what's going on. Is aware that there is a proxy somewhere, but doesn't know where. He's looking for it. Ooh, meanwhile, Cyan going for a gate expand. Again, we are going for a forge as well for some cannons. Oh my god. I love this reaction out of Cyan. So again, it is side delta, so it's very common to just go for economic openers here on this map and go for the low ground expansion. So Cyan, he delays his nexus here in favor of that forge, so he can start working with some cannons so he can survive and defend. Meanwhile, Estrella looks like he's waiting for his Cybercore to finish up before he does commit to anything. Yeah, we have a safety cannon on the way. Estrella going for a 2-gate into expand. He's not going all in. Let's go. I love this. This worked. So basically, Estrella, he went for a 2-gate opener, and because the 2 gateways are on his side of the map, they're relatively safe as well, or much safer, much more difficult to scout. And he's basically faking out an all-in, and he's hoping to force an overreaction, and he did. Like Cyan, he delayed his expansion, went for a forge of all things, threw down a cannon and a second pylon, and I'm sure Estrella's pretty happy with this. I'm sure he's like, okay, cool, I could just get ahead economically. And you don't really have any tech to punish me with. Like, there's no Robo, there's no Twilight Council, there's no Stargate. It was a Forge. You can't really use a Forge offensively. So, yeah, Estrella, just, I would say ahead. I would say in a much better position. Stalkers, they reveal themselves, they shut down the Adept, and yeah, with that, Estrella, he can just enjoy a slightly better economy. Now, of course, Cyan can try to bounce back here, but it is unfortunate that Cyan doesn't have a Stargate. If he had a Stargate, he could try to get some economic damage done or try to harass. For now, he's just kind of stuck here. Going for a Twilight Council. Working towards Blink, I imagine. And yeah, with that, the game is going to be settling from here. Let's go! It was going to be settling, but we are going for a bit of a proxy. With that Twilight Council, I was assuming that we were going to be going into Blink, but no, it's going to be a Dark Trine instead, which makes sense. Cyan, he knows that he's behind. He's down 6 probes. Like, no, like, damage has been done. Nothing's been killed, but because of how late the expansion is, he's down in workers. We need to come back. How do we come back? Dark Templar. Now, unfortunately, Estrella already has a robo on the way, which means he will have an observer, which means he should have detection. Oh my god, Estrella going straight for a third. He's so greedy. Oh my god. Estrella going straight for that third base, but can he defend it? It's very possible that he can. At the same time, Adepts, they have arrived here on the front lines, going to be shading into the natural base. The wall is not a wall. And we can dive on the sentries. Yeah, we want those sentries. We're going to get one. Probe's going to be going down one after the other as well. Ugh. And you thought that Cyan was behind economically before. Even more now. It's going to be 6, 7. Oh, we want the sentry. No. 2 sentries go down. 7 probes. 8 workers. Can we get 9? Oh, we can. We can get 9. And now it's all about the Dark Templar. They need to perform a miracle here. We need to deal a devastating amount of damage to come back in this game. Back at home, we should have an observer. There's an immortal on the way. I'm not too sure if we do have the observer, though. We don't. Uh-oh. There is no detection. Observer now in production, but is it too late? DTs, they have been spotted. Astray, he knows. He's aware. He's chasing it. He goes for the warp in purposefully here to block off that wall. Overcharges popped, keeping that Stalker alive. Detection arrives as well. We shut down the Dark Templar. Probes are going down to the other DT here at the third base. I believe Adepts have been sent out as well. So we do kill 6 workers. That is something. That does help even things up. We got another probe as well. Things getting a little bit chaotic here. As Cyan's trying to get into his own third. The Adept finally gets shut down. Oh. And again, Cyan, he was able to kill 6 workers, which is good, but... Oh, sorry, 7 probes, which is good. But he's still down 10. Still down 10 and down in tech. We can see Cyan working towards Immortals. Meanwhile, Estrella rushing into Disruptors. Into that Robotics Bay. Dark Templar does get dropped into the main. We have another DT here trying to push in towards the natural. Astray is being pulled apart. Like, this is getting some work done. Not bad. Oh my god. As long as we keep the War Prism alive. Meanwhile, we have a cannon. Here at the third, we're going to be able to hold on. And I want to believe, I'm pretty sure the DTs did see the Disruptors. Oh my. My mistake. It's a bay, but not for Disruptors. We're going into Colossi. Alright, Estrella. Or should I call you Skillus? Alright, so Colossus production underway instead. This is a way to get secure splash damage for your army. It's an alternate way to deal with Zealots, for example. Not as impactful as Disruptors, but, you know, it has its place here in PvP. We do see it from time to time. We do see it, and yeah, from here, Estrella, he's just securing himself, taking up even further because he can afford to, because of his better economy. Cyan is playing catch-up instead, getting into a higher immortal count, which has value, don't get me wrong. Does have value. We have Glaives on the way from Estrella. Again, Glaives doesn't scale well in a PvP, but is a good way to just dive on an army, collapse, and hit a strong timing, or even just warping a couple of Adepts into the main. Cyan is going for a ninja base towards the top right, which makes sense. Again, we need to do something crazy, something drastic. I would have liked this a little bit sooner, but again, ninja base is on the way nonetheless. Cyan, he needs time to get it up and running. He needs time to actually saturate that fourth. Soka's going to be moving out. Estrella taking a standard fourth base. Gateways should be shut down. Not the most important gateways anymore. They're just out here scouting, I guess. Getting a read on the army, and here we go. Estrella now about to reveal his Colossi. Just waiting for Glaives to finish up. Australia, he wants to try to repower these buildings and take them as his own. Throwing down that pylon. There we go. Gonna be depowering them and shutting them down. We do have a unit of Australia moving towards the right-hand side. It looks like we will come across the ninja base. No. I think he saw it. I think he knows. I believe he is aware. Gateways are going down. We recall to the top right at the same time the Stalkers, they hit the fourth base of Australia. That's a lot of adepts. Jesus. Oh my god. We're warping in more. That's like 20 adepts. I mean, we got glaives. May as well use it. 26. 26 adepts here for Australia. A very unorthodox army, but again, does have potential. The way it works is adepts, they actually take a lot of Stalker hits to kill. Much more than a Stalker, for example. So they do a great job of just soaking damage, allowing your Colossus and Immortals in the backline to do a surprising amount and to really go to town here on your opponent's army composition. Here we go. We're going for the Shade. The goal here to collapse on these Stalkers. There's no escape. There's no way out. We commit, and we're chasing this down. Stalkers are falling. Stray going to be hitting with +2. There are some Immortals in position, but again, as we mentioned, the goal here is to just get on top of the Immortals. Show us the Shade. Show us the Shade as we dance here with the army. We have to respect the Archon. The Archon does pose a big threat to those adepts. We don't want to throw them away. We don't want that splash damage to get out of hand. The Archon does get forced back. The Immortals are exposed, and we're going right for them. First Immortal goes down, and Cyan is just being bullied back. There's just too much here from Estrella. Far too much, as he will break this third base. Doesn't even get on top of the army. Doesn't need to. As the Colossi just zone away those Stalkers. The range is just too good. At the same time as a counterattack, but we have Adepts in position. Now we rotate towards the 5th. I say 5th because technically the 4th is top right. Technically the 4th is hidden, and we don't know about it. Well, yeah, we got 10 worker kills. Nexus is going to be falling as well, and Cyan can't do anything about this. Nova goes off. Big connection. Big connection on the army, but that still just isn't enough. No, the prism goes down. Oh my god. The prism falls. We deny the warp in. Another Nova goes off, and it will we'll connect. Good shot on those adepts. But there's that Shade. The Shade on the army. And we can just focus everything down. The Stalkers blink away, but that just exposes the Immortals and the Disruptors. And with that, Cyan just barely has anything left. Down to a handful of Stalkers. The cannon from the early game has fallen. GG gets called, and Estrella will take the 2-0. GG, well played. Not the easiest 2-0 though. Again, Cyan was fighting back hard, especially in game number 1. Game 2 was a little bit more one-sided. Game 2 was a lot more in favor of Estrella from early on, just because of the openers, just because of the fake outs. Estrella, he was up 10 workers, which is crazy. And with that, Maturino will take the series. 4 games have already been won here. We're still going to play out the last best of 2. Could still go either way, but Maturino will win this regardless of the score. Going to be going on a short break. Up next, Future versus Silky. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Oh my god. Oh, the TikTok filters are out. Welcome back, everyone, to our final best of 2 of this series. Again, Match Arena Esports, they've already taken a win here, but there's still a match. Oh, we're having fun. Where are we going? There's still one best of 2 remaining here between Future and Silk. Oh, you can see. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my god. So having fun with these filters, and yeah, we're getting ready for this best of 2, a TVC between Future and Silky, and I've been waiting for it. I've been looking forward to it. Again, Silky is the strongest Zerg player in all of China, and he's going to be looking to take a lead, looking to fight back for his team against Future. And this is going to be a close one because Future is also a very aggressive player. So is Silky. Like, they're both aggressive by nature, and we're going to be seeing these two clash here, I want to say, in the early game, but Game 1 is on equilibrium, and I'm curious what Silky has in store for us, because Silky, again, he's always coming in prepared. He's always coming in with something wild and crazy. Show us what you got. Likewise, Future has a very unique style of TVC. He's not afraid to 2-base all in and pull the boys against Zerg, which is unheard of otherwise, but Future is very aggressive. Likewise, he goes for eBay blocks against Zerg players as well, which is also unheard of and not something you get to see too often in this matchup. Yeah, Future, he just has his own builds. Like, it's really interesting. Like, he just comes up with his own openers, his own builds, his own play style, and he's very unique as a result. He's always a lot of fun to watch. Always a lot of fun because of that. So we'll see where this all takes us. As for now, we are just getting that lobby ready. I say we're getting the lobby ready. Really, we're just looking for an outfit for Silky. We're just trying to settle on the mask, the monocle, the glasses. You know, is he under the sea today? Is he, you know, in Castlevania? Is he like in a mansion, the haunted mansion? I don't know. We'll see what he says. For now, glasses. Glasses on glasses, right? Like, he's already wearing glasses. I don't understand. He's already wearing glasses. Really, this will give him like double the zoom, double the vision, and he's gonna be able to, yeah, be that much more adept at like seeing widow mines borrowed and reacting to them as well. And yeah, it's yeah, we'll see how this does impact him. Oh, we're getting sleepy. Hi. Why did Silky abandon his underwater kingdom? He's expanding. He's already conquered the sea. Now he's looking to conquer the land. Conquer the Americas, papi. Let's go. Here we go. So again, we're just waiting here for said lobby. Then we're going to be diving on in. We're waiting to really determine what kind of filter we're working with. I kind of like the mask. If only we had that for Halloween. Oh! Ooh, as we do have a bit of a pause here. Looks like we have a couple of technical issues. You know, we have to make sure that the glasses are prescription. You know, we don't want to we don't want to come in blind here. Hopefully everything is okay. Whether it's hotkey issues or maybe a little bit of latency. Thankfully, we're not too far into the game. Just here in the beginnings, and won't be impacting the game too much here. Thankfully. Oh, but yeah, I want to say this series is going to be a little bit more unpredictable. I haven't casted Future in quite some time. It's been like a couple of weeks. A big reason for that is Future is back in the States. Future, he was living in Korea for the majority of this year. I say majority, like the first 6 months. First 6 months of this year was living in Korea, maybe a little bit less than that. But he was staying with Australia. He was staying with Scarlet and Zane. They were all practicing, training, and improving in Korea. And yeah, now he's back in the States, and he's still, of course, kept his form. That's the thing. Like, he's still a terrifying player. I do think he underperformed a little bit in ESL Masters Winter. I think I at least was expecting a deeper run. What happened with Kelzer is what I was kind of expecting with Future, but yeah, I did have some rough matches, a couple of rough performances, and you know, I'm sure he's willing to redeem himself. He's waiting to redeem himself in DreamHack Atlanta. Like many NA players, Future will be there. He will be there. Until then, again, we're just resolving any kind of issues, and actually, let's see. Okay, we're not getting any updates on Discord, but hopefully everything's okay. Maybe they loaded into, actually I wouldn't be surprised if they loaded into like the wrong server or something. So we have to remake. Make sure that ping is stable for everyone involved. Before we do get into this. When is Discord getting this as well? I know that Discord has its own like its own green screen, like its own like fake green screen. That's what Yaku uses. That's what I used to use as well. But when are we getting like the dog filters? The duck filter? Ah, the duck spot. Quack. It'd be beautiful. Oh, and we're loading back in. We have returned, and here we go. It looks like we did remake the lobby. In the top right hand corner, we have for Matcherino Esports Future. And in the top left, we have for the Starving Camels SSLT, it is Silky. Ah. With glasses on glasses. But yeah, it looks like we did remake the lobby. Looks like we did probably have to remake it because of the server. As previously, I believe Future was top left. Now he's top right. But here we go, and oh boy, Future going for the low ground racks as well. I'm really curious as to what he whips out. So Future, he has a very unique build. He has a very unique build where he does go for what looks to be like a 2x Reaper, but he goes Marine instead into a later timing. And he's going CC first. Let's go. CC first against Silky. Bold move, mate. Bold move here. As Silky is known as an aggressive player, he is not shy to go for a gas first or something more economic, something like a Roach Rush. So very bold move. But I kind of like it because Equilibrium, it's known for greedy play. It's known for faster goal bases even from the Zerg player. So yeah, I like this as a way to offset that. So it's going to be CC first into 2 racks. I imagine it's going to be 2 racks. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be Future's variation where he just makes Marines, where he skips out on Reapers, which again is a risky thing to do, but it's a risk the Future is willing to take. There we go. Second gases are in production here from our American Terran. Getting into the swing of things. I'm really curious again if he invests into Reapers or not. He will have some gas to work with. ASV gets across the map. Does get eyes on the hatch first. There it is. This is so greedy. We aren't going Marine first. We're going add-on first. It's going to be CC first into 2 racks into Reactor Tech Lab. The greed is crazy. Oh my god. There's the Tech Lab on the way for Future. 0 units. We're going to reach the 3-minute mark in this game with 0 units for Future. 0 fighting units, I should say. Only SCVs, and he is just getting away with so much. If Silky had gone for a gas rush, if he had gone for a Roach Warren, then Future would be dead. He would 100% be dead. But alas, we're getting into the Marine production. Stim is on the way, and Future is going to be building up his army, looking to hit a Stim timing later on down the line with a mass Marine army. And yeah, so far, Future just getting into his game. So I was curious. If Future... Sorry, I was just dying for a moment there. I was curious if Future was going to be going into a 4x behind this, but there is a factory on the way. So it's going to be a 2-on-1. I'm curious if it's going to be a straight up 2-on-1 or a 3cc 2-on-1 instead. Something more economic. I mentioned before that Future, he is one that is willing to go for a 2-base all-in in this matchup. And if we do see a starport up next, then I would be thinking along those lines. My eyes are on our Terran. And there it is, starport. So straight up 2-on-1. This means that we have a delayed third base. Very delayed third base. Is an eBay on the way. Second eBay. So, okay. I was curious if we were going to be going for a 2-base all-in. But we have 2 eBays, which means we're going to be waiting for our upgrades to kick in. So we're thinking a little bit further ahead. But we do have a big delay on that 3rd CC for future. So this is still very aggressive, very committed. This double drop that we're working towards needs to get damage done. Otherwise, future will fall behind economically. As Silky's getting his 3rd base up and running. Going to be droning on up as well. We have +1 carapace on the way. Silky has correctly identified that it is going to be a 2-1-1 variation, so +1 carapace is going to help so much here when it comes to that bio army. And there it is. Medevacs are on the way. We have the add-on swap with the factory and that starport. 1-1 in production as well. And with the arrival of these medevacs, future should be pushing. He should be moving out. Silky, of course, confirms this. He's getting ready with his own lings. Lair is in production. Eventually a Bailey nest. For now, Silky has to defend with purely lings and queens. And there's the 3rd CC on the way. So again, not an all-in, which is what we assumed once we saw the 2 eBays. If it wasn't for that, then again, I would have assumed that we would just double down here on 2-base play instead. As future is moving out. Again, because this 3rd is so delayed, there's still damage that needs to be done. Future needs to deny this gold base, get into a mineral line, kill the queens, trade well against the lings. There's a lot here that he needs to achieve. We're now going to be pushing onto creep, just clearing up whatever he can. Making it easier for his follow push. We have 38 lings on the way. Oh my, Silky cutting workers early on here at 50. At 49 even. God, that is so many. That is maybe too many lings actually. Oh my god. More than enough to force future back, but this actually really does put a dent into the drone count. Maybe it's okay. I was gonna say that I'm really concerned for Silky, but he has the gold, so even though his worker count is really low, he makes up for it with a gold base. So that's okay. And this is a power of equilibrium. This is why this is such a Zerg favored map. Aye. And here we go. Future, he's going to be pushing, he's going to be reinforcing it with his tank. This is going to be hitting with 1-1. Going to be up and upgrade compared to Silky. Just looking for an angle of attack. But again, Silky has been staying on a very low worker count. And this is what I meant earlier at the start of the series when I was like, aggression faces off against aggression. Where Silky, he stays on a low drone count, which means he has a massive army. Likewise, Future delayed his 3rd base for this push. But he's up against someone who's also been cutting corners and cutting his economy as well. And we just go into... we just go straight to the main. We dive into the main base, a quadruple doom drop into it. Tank on the low ground is going to be hunted down, but no, it looks like we get a couple of good shots off here on the lings. A really awkward fight for Silky, bleeding out so many of those lings even. Ay. Bailing speed has kicked in. The target firing. Not too bad here from Future at all. Does drop back on the low ground. So even though Future may have lost his tank and a handful of Marines, he traded so damn well against those lings. Oh, the target firing once again. 2 Bailings are left. Future has to back off, but he does preserve most of his Marines. He lost 1 medevac pool of Marines, but he kept 3 alive. And now here come the reinforcements. Future looking to just power on through. He's up in army supply. He has momentum going his way. Was able to take down a lot of lings, a lot of Banelings, catch some queens. And the tanks are sieging. The split is looking good. Silky going for his own counterattack at the same time. And do we have much at home to defend? We do. We have plenty at home. Future ready for the counterattack. Once again, maneuvering towards that main. Yeah, we're going for that doom drop. Not too sure how I feel about these tanks on the low ground. But regardless, we are going for the main base. Down goes that Spore Crawler. Silky working towards Hive. Lings gonna have to respond. Spawning Pool goes down. Oh my god. Spawning Pool does fall. We can see Silky trying to set up a surround. He's coming in from behind. And he will collapse on these tanks. Yeah, the Marines are forced to pick up, but the tanks are going down. Not a bad fight for Silky. But he did lose the spawning pool, which is quite brutal, actually. You can see, oh my god, 2,000 minerals lost for future, 6,000 for Silky. My god. The trades, the efficiency. But Silky has drawn up to 80. Drawn up past 80, plus a gold base. Silky, he has a booming economy, and you can see that that's reflected in his bank. But he has to spend his bank, and he can't. He doesn't have any other tech. No Hydrogen, no Roach Warren. He needs to spend his money. There we go. 46 links on the way. But they're still not ready. We stutter stepping forward, focusing down that macro hatch. Hatchery is going to go down. Good tank shots as well. Ooh. Yeah, as there's just too much link, maybe we take control of the low ground. We clean up the tank once again. Now, behind this future, he's done with tank production. He's getting... Oh, that's 210 things. Jesus. But he's getting into Widow Mines. Drilling Claws on the way. 3-3 as well. The upgrades of future are insane. And where's +2 carapace, by the way? That's a mistake. +2 carapace, far more important than +2 melee. The target firing is too good. The Bailings go down. And future... Oh, the target once again! One Bailing makes it through. But the control here from Future, it's insane. It's disgusting as he pushes on forward here. Only links to defend. And this may just be it. Future is snowballing out of control. Doesn't even need 3-3. As he has broken the back of Silky. Stimming on forward. GG gets called. And Future will take game number 1. GG again. Really clean control out of Future. Like, the way that he was able to target down so many Bailings in so many of those fights. Of course, the tank positioning, the momentum in general here. And yeah, especially the moments when he was able to take down that spawning pool. Once that did occur, that meant that there was no way for Silky to really engage. He couldn't throw away his army because he just couldn't replace it. And Future takes game 1. And now we're working towards game number 2. It's going to be Silky's map of choice. I'm very curious what we go for. Very curious. Where exactly are you taking us? Again, it's loser's pick, the way this format works, and Silky, it's gonna be on him to try to figure out, is he phoning a friend? Is he like, oh, I need some advice. Let me call up Firefly. How do I beat Terran? He's like, no, versus Terran, unwinnable, Poppy, unwinnable. Oh, smooch. I'm curious. Again, Equilibrium is typically known as the map, is known as the Zerg map. Up next, I'm feeling aggression. I'm feeling it all in. I'm feeling like Silky wants to spread his wings and play his game. Am I thinking Oceanborn? I'm feeling a smaller map like Oceanborn or Hardlead. Right, of course, yeah, Hardlead, right? We'll see. We shall see. Do we go over a smaller map or a larger map? What kind of game does Silky want? What kind of game are we going for? Silky played with 10 times the zoom for superior micro. Exactly. It's helping, buddy. It's helping. Now, the problem is that this may be the first time that Silky is playing with, like, double glasses, like double layered glasses. And he may need some time to adjust, you know? Like, it can be a little bit daunting and a little bit intense to zoom in that much here on the map. And here we go. We have our map of choice. It is not Oceanborn. It is not Hardlead. It is Golden Aura. Let's go. Golden Aura is coming up next. Again, a short rush distance by ground has a secure 3-way setup. I'm feeling roaches. I'm feeling roaches here from Silky, but we'll see. We'll see what he does decide to go for. What do you have prepared? I want to believe he has a build prepared. Don't let us down. Don't let us down. Here we go. Up, as we're loading in, and in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have for Match Arena Esports. It is the future. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have for the Starving Camels. It is Silky. Here we go. Once again, Future going for that low ground setup. Now, whether he goes CC first on Golden Aura, that would be insane. That would be crazy if he were to cut that many corners on a map like this. But we'll see. There it is. Pool first out of Silky. We have a Rax first here for out of Future. Here we go. So again, I mean, I say Rax first. It's standard opener here, but it's important to point out because last game Future did go for a CC first instead. So important to take notes that, of course, Future is being more careful here. He's respecting the map and respecting his opponent. Doesn't want to cut too many corners. Now, this pull first shouldn't really achieve too much. This isn't as aggressive as a gas first. With this pull first, we can get faster queens. We can get into a couple of lings to try to get some economic damage and delay the CC. There it is. 4 lings are on the way. Oh, we're going to be going into 6 even. Okay. Interesting. 6 lings in production. Their goal here is to try to get on top of the CC. Now, unfortunately for Silky, there's a low ground wall. There's a low ground Rax, which means we should soon be walling off. And if we do wall off, these lings won't find much damage at all. And there we go. That factory is on the way. SCV is going to be coming on in. Does confirm the timing of that hatchery. He's aware of the pool first, and there is that factory on the way. So this is not the low ground 2 Rax opener. This is Rax into factory instead. We lift up the... Oh my god, we're greedy here. We get the Overlord. And that will supply block Silky. We do get behind the wall just in time. The wall! No! Oh god, we're good. We're okay, Pat. We're okay. Ah. I was worried for a moment, but we are a little bit supply blocked here. Regardless, the wall is up and running, and Future is safe and sound. I would say off of these openers, Silky is behind. He is behind here. If he went Hatchgas first, Hatchgas pool, he would have been in a beautiful position. Going pool first like this, these lings, they didn't achieve anything. The wall was going to be here anyway. We're not making Reapers. We're not forcing Reapers to stay at home. Like it's been a bit of a rough start here for Silky. Again, personally, I was hoping for a faster gas, and we are going to be spending our gas elsewhere. That is a fast lair. You can see the lair in the production tab. We're skipping link speed. We're going straight for the lair. We have a second gas geyser on the way. What is this for? Is this 2-base Muta? Third gas geyser as well. If we were casting me and Micah, I would say this is 2-base Hydras. And hey, maybe that's who Silky was calling earlier. Maybe he's like, yo, Mia. I heard that you were at a family gathering, mate. I'm Zerg. I'm family too. Help me, Papi. Help me. It's going to be 4 gases. Okay, never mind. If it was 3 gases, I would think, yo, Hydras? With 4 gases, this should be Muta play instead. No, the Hellion dives in. The Hellion does bypass the Queens, gets into the main base, sees the gases, and sees the lair as well. We are aware of the potential of a Spire. And there it is. The Spire has been thrown down. 2-base Muta out of Silky. A very risky maneuver, and it has been scouted. Now, Future, he may not have seen the Spire itself, but everything he saw screams Mutas. But we'll see how he deals with it. For now, we have a bio tank push getting set up, getting into really early tank production. Interesting. Getting out of Hellions into faster tanks. I'm not too sure how I feel about this, considering the build he's up against. Behind this, getting into his third CC. 2 more Raxes on the way. Viking has arrived to shut down some of these Overlords. Future just focusing on a bio army instead. It looks like he's going to be chilling back at home. looking to defend. Working towards Stim. Overseer goes down. Looks like, yep, the Viking killed one of those overlords and he's going for another. Shouldn't be able to get it though. He's taking a lot of hits. No! Takes too many hits. The Viking does go down. Sorry, I've been dying this entire time. And there we go. Meters are in production. We have Link Speed on the way as well. I'm loving the changeling, keeping eyes on where the Bio Army is. Keeping eyes on where exactly Future is positioned. And as a result, Silky, he may be able to sneak around and get some economic damage done. He's making enough meters to one-shot. He is making enough meters to one-shot, and yeah, I'm one-shot SCVs, I should specify. I mean, I guess Marines as well. And he is going to be sharking around here, looking for a way in. Here we go, the armies they do meet. They do meet here in the center of the map. The tanks are caught on siege as well. Lays a collapse on this army. The mutas, and we're going to clean everything up. And Fuchsia pushing out at this timing was not the correct call. He gets caught. The pants are down, and Silky is going right for that mineral line. 7 SCVs go down. Oh my god. Does he have enough to break through? He looks like he does. He gets some of the Marines. The Marines go down. The tanks too thereafter as well. The turret trying to do what it can. But Fuchsia again, moving out at that moment was not the right move, as again the mutas that had map control, they shut them down. 11 SCVs go down as well. We even take down Arax. And what can Future do? He's stuck in his mineral line. Stuck with those SCVs. We go for a second Rax. We deny. Did we deny combat shields? I think we did. Or it might have just finished. Okay, combat shields was denied. The mutas getting out of control. Silky looking to fight back. We may have lost this overall series here. It may be a 5-0 here on the scoreboard, but Silky, he takes control of the third base. Pushes towards the main. And Future, he is in trouble. He's stuck here on these 2 bases. Building up his Marine counts. Getting into Cyclones even. Just anything that shoots up. Anything that can deal with these mutas. From here, Silky can drone. He can just drone from here. Take a 4th. Take his gases. Tech up. Work towards 1-1. Silky is looking fine. Doesn't have the biggest worker advantage that I would like to see, but we're droning nonetheless. We are going to be droning nonetheless. Oof. As the mutas are forced back. So 4 more dead SCVs. And with that, the game is going to be settling down for now. Again, Silky, he still has map control. He still has, control of everything here. But Future is slowly building up his army. Going to be slowly taking that third base. This is also why I wish that Silky was a little bit greedier. And my wishes have been answered as we have drawn up to 70. 70 workers, 6 gases being taken. 1-1 on the way, +2 range. +2 air attack. Bailing speed. Silky, he's getting everything he needs. Now, Silky is behind in the upgrades because he invested into these mutas, so 2-2 is still a ways off. So technically, Future has more potential with his bio army, but the numbers, they work in Silky's favor. Bailings are on the way. Bailing speed about to finish up in 10 seconds. Silky, he wants to crush this third once again. Now, we do have a decent tank line. Infestation bits on the way to get into Hive and then Vipers. Here we go, the Bailings are rolling in. But tanks are in position. We do get into the mineral line and we do crash in. 10, 17. 17 SCVs go down. Ay, ay, ay. And we can rotate over towards that third base. We can go for the tank, and we will get it. Tank goes down. Vikings, Cyclones. Anything and everything here at the third. Ooh, even almost the medevac. Silky just making sure that Future doesn't stabilize. Keeping his worker count low. Keeping his high-tech units low as well. And he's getting ready for another wave. Wave number 3. There's that hive in production. So again, get into Vipers, get into Adrenal Glands, maybe even Ultra production as well. It may be too greedy to take into an Ultra Cavern, but you know, we will gain access to it. 4th CC on the way, on location. And Silky just amassing more Banelings. And there are no Widow Mines. That's the problem. We're relying on a Bio Tank, no mines. Which means this Lingbane army can get out of control. Mutas as well. And it looks like instead of going for the third, we're going straight for the 4th. There is one tank in position. We will respect it. You have to back off. Silky going for a Bailing run by at the same time. Ooh, almost gets a kill in the CC. We need a repair. Uh-oh. He's going for it. He's going for the CC. The turret is going to be going down. And can we take down the base itself? It looks like we cannot. The repairs are too good. Well, a couple of mutas get shaved off. There's that Ultra Cavern that we were talking about. It is on the way. The mutas! Oh no! Both players a little bit asleep at the wheel there. The mutas, they just flew over the Marines, not quite paying attention. Silky gonna be backing up, working towards 2-2, maxing out. Now Silky, now that he's maxed out, he should trade. You don't want to sit on a Lingbane army like this and allow Future to max out himself. We do need to hit either the 3rd or the 4th, and even if it's like rough, like taking some tank shots to the face, we do need to try to keep Future on the back foot. Otherwise, Future could come back in this game. So I am a little bit concerned. Silky is spinning up his army. It looks like he wants to try to hit both bases at once. Now, if Silky throws away too much supply too quickly, then that will trigger a counterattack. And depending on how poorly Silky trades or how well he trades, I mean, we'll see if Future does decide to try to move out. Here we go. Silky is pushing. We have Lingbane towards the left. We have a Lingbane Muta towards the right. Could be rolling on forward. Trying to keep the attention here off of the main army. We go for the 3rd. We go right for the 3rd base. Tank goes down. And so will another and another as well. 2 tanks. We only get 3 SCVs though. Not quite worth it for Silky. And Future, he's recovering. Future, he only loses 3 workers. He's slowly catching up. We're getting there. Now, even if Future does max out, he won't really have a bank to work with, so he's going to have to slowly work towards a 5th base. More Lingbane on the way. Ultras this time as well. Again, I do feel like we're just giving Future a lot of time. And is Silky going to be punished for it? Is it going to be too much? Banelings, they roll in. They get into the middle line. Oh! Oh my god. 9 dead SCVs. Not like this. Future a little bit late to react. A little bit late to pull away. And it looks like Silky wants to try to surround the army. Yeah, from both angles. Would it go for the 3rd? Is he coming in too soon? Pushed in from the left, pushed in from the right. Bailey's good target firing. They do not connect with the Marines. But here comes so many more, and we do collapse on the base. That's only 2 dead workers. Oh my god. Future, he is holding. He trades damn well there. The Marine army did avoid the Banelings. The workers were pulled back in time. Future, he lost 24 Marines there in that fight. A handful of Marauders. Silky remaxing once again. For a moment there, the supplies evened up, which was crazy. Both players dropped to 140. But Silky has a bank, so he can remax. He can remax again and again. Future cannot. Not yet. Not until he takes a 5th. There we go. Ultras are on the way. +3 air attack has completed. Still no Vipers. Without Vipers, pushing into these tank lines is always going to be brutal for the Zerg. No Blinding Clouds. No Spellcasters. Just trying to force our way in. And here we go. This time pushing towards the 4th. Oh, Ultras are getting picked off though. Big snipes as well. Oh, that's 4 dead Ultras. Get a really good trade here for Future. Oh, that's I spoke too soon. As Lingbei rolls into the 3rd base, 24 dead SCVs. Ay, ay, ay. Future was doing so well until this moment. He picked off some Ultras. He was feeling good about himself. I was feeling good about Future. And then 24 SCVs go down in the blink of an eye. Big mine shots. Oh my god. Massive mine connections. But alas, Future needs more than that, especially after losing that mineral line. He was almost closing that gap. He was almost catching up. Almost. And here we go. Silky remaxing for, what is a 4th time? For a 4th time. Pushing in towards the left-hand side. Once again, closing that distance. Big mine shot's going to be going off. This choke point is so brutal to push up. Yeah, snipes go off. We take down another 3 Ultras. At the same time, we get on top of the 3rd, and this 3rd is so exposed. We take down the workers. We take down the mineral line. 17 more dead SCVs, and Future is all in. He's just sending it right down the middle. Now, he's up in army supply. He's up in supply. He can make this work. Wedging himself in between the bases, but we do see Silky coming in from behind. And it's only a bio army. Big snipe's going to be going with the Bailings. The Bailings are barely going to be enough. Big connections. GG gets called. Silky cleans up the Ghost Army. Ooh. And Silky will take game number 2. Oh my god. I was getting a bit concerned at times. I was like, yo, are we throwing away too much? Is this becoming too much? And Future, he fought back. He fought back hard. But alas, was not able to surpass the deficit from the early game, surpass losing so much of those mutants being contained. And with that, GG. GG, well played. We wrap up this best of 7. Did go 5-1 in favor of Matcherino, but shout out to Silky. Silky did fight back, did make Future work for it, and did take a game himself. GG, well played. With that, that was our first Team League match of the night, and we have another right around the corner. Up next, Shopify Rebellion versus Team Basilisk. Oh my god, it is gonna be insane. It's gonna be an insane series. Beyond versus Trigger, Lambert versus Raynor, Hearthstone versus Cyril. After the break, we're gonna be going on a short one. When we return, we'll have our final series of the night. See you then. It's gonna be a good one. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second Team League match of the night, to the final series of the night as well. We just wrapped up with Matcherino Esports versus the Starving Camels SSLT. And now we are here with the finale, with Team Basilisk versus Shopify Rebellion. And we are diving right into this. Predictions will soon be open because up first is Beyond versus Trigger. And it looks like it was played ahead of time. So we are diving on in. And at the bottom right-hand corner for Shopify Rebellion, we have Beyond. And in the top left, we have, for Team Basilisk, Trigger. Here we go again. Oh my god, we have been waiting. I've been salivating, waiting to sink my teeth into this best of 7. We have Beyond versus Trigger, followed by Lambo versus Rainer. And we conclude with Hearthstone versus Several. Oh, a night full of amazing StarCraft. And we'll see how this all comes together here, as Beyond is going to be skirting around the edge of the map with that SCV. It looks like he wants to go for an eBay block here at the natural base of Trigger. SCV comes in, is going to be spotted. Trigger does see the SCV ahead of time. eBay should be on the way in. Yeah, probes are being sent over. Big scout from Trigger. Very important. So thankfully he was able to see the SCV ahead of time. Otherwise this eBay would complete. And because he was able to spot it, he was able to preemptively pull these boys. And this eBay should be cancelled. It should be denied. So good movement so far here by Trigger. Again, eBay blocks have been very popular and very commonplace at this level of play in TVP. And Beyond is going to be shut down there. Behind this, ooh, we have a very interesting opener. It was a single gas geyser by Beyond, but he's going for a Rax into Factory, which is what he was planning to do to begin with, to try to punish the unnatural natural. But Trigger is taking a regular expansion, so this opener from Beyond has a lot less potential. Far less than normal. From here, yeah, Beyond just going to be muling, getting into his gas mining, working towards said reactor for a would-be add-on swap. And yeah, so far, Trigger having a good start. Getting into this, of course, Trigger, I would argue that his best matchup is PvT, actually. We've seen Trigger take down Beyond, take down Gumiho, take down Kuro. We've seen him go toe-to-toe with Maru, as well as Clem. Trigger, his PvT has been looking phenomenal so far this year. Well, everything that I was referring to was during the Open Cups, online weekly events like ESL Americas, for example. And yeah, it's been great to see Trigger grow so much as a player. I remember still seeing him when he first debuted in a Battle of the Americas many years, oh, I say many years, a couple of years ago at this point. And we'll see if he can replicate his success once again against Beyond. For now, it is going to be a Twilight Council opener. We have our tech of choice. Probe does confirm the 1-1-1 follow-up as well. Does confirm the lack of, 3 racks or even a 3-1-1 before, 3 racks before Starport. Trigger is aware the drop play should be imminent, as we are continuing Hellion production, actually. 2 Hellions getting into another 2 behind this. Again, with that Twilight Council opener, it should be Blink for Trigger. I believe Beyond is in the dark. I believe Beyond hasn't seen this. Not fully aware of what Trigger is doing as he's getting into those Widow Mines. Should be getting into some drop play. There it is, Medevac on the way for Beyond. Because of the 1-1-1, Trigger, he's aware. Like, he saw everything he needed to. He should be mentally prepared at least to deal with drop play. Stalkers are in position. The goal here is that the Widowmine drop creates an opening, forces a reaction from those Stalkers, and the Hellions can dive in, or vice versa. The Hellions keep the Stalkers busy, and the Widowmines get into a mineral line and wreak havoc. Bit of a 1-2 punch here from Beyond. Behind this, Trigger getting into a 2-gate Blink opener. Robo has been thrown down. Oh, those are additional gateways, though. Trigger ramping up the aggression. Let's go. He delays his third in favor of additional gateways, so he is going to be hyper fixated here on Stalker production for the time being, just to keep up here with the aggression of Beyond. 1 gateway on the low ground, 2 gates in the main. Are we going to? I think it's 4 gates, right? It's 3 gates in the main. Here we go. Drop comes in. So far, we do react well. Ooh. Oh my god, we take down the Stalker. 2 mine shots go off, 1 Stalker and 1 probe. as the drop slips into the main base. And yeah, it is going to be a 4-gate blink out of Trigger. Once he defends, he's going for a big counterattack. Hellions try to push forward, but Trigger is in position. He does shut this down. Did lose one Stalker in the process. The problem is that he wants to push, he wants to counterattack, but he can't because of these Hellions and because of the mine. The mine drill comes back in. You get one probe, and we have one more Widow Mine left. Shot is going to go off, and Trigger up. Oh no! Ooh, we do retarget. 5 workers go down. Big connection here for Björn. And Trigger, he needs to counterattack. He needs to get damage done. But he's lost so much. Back at home, Björn is building up his tank count. Hellions getting ready for another run by, another counterattack. That is 7 dead workers. And the Hellions, they get into the natural. It's only going to be 2 Hellions. They do 2 shot workers. Oh, the adept comes in. Tanks are shots. We get one. We get both tanks as well. Big pickoffs here for Trigger. There is still a bunker left. But we can dive into the main base. Another tank arrives just in time. We cover the main. Trigger trying to go for a big warp in here. Trying to reinforce. He's committed. Oh, we pick off the tank. The Unsiege. The boys are being pulled. Again, good target firing here on some of the Marines. We dive out of the main base and we rotate back towards the natural, where there is a bunker. Another tank still in production. And we dive on the bunker. Repairs are not fast enough. And Trigger, he's snowballing out of control. Oof. So far, again, the juggling. Oh my god. At the same time, looks like a mine shot did go off in the main base. That's 8 more dead workers. Oh, that is impacting how much Trigger can reinforce. The Observer survives. No shot. The Observer makes it out of scan range. We maintain the Observer. We maintain air vision as well. Sight of the high ground. Another tank has arrived, but that's just another dead tank here. Stalkers are going down. Uh-oh. Stalkers are getting picked off. Trigger forced out of the main. But Trigger still has momentum. He still has momentum going his way. He may have lost workers back at home, but we can still keep pushing. Again, no more tanks, no more bunkers. There's one tank here on the high ground. Trigger has to respect it. We'll have to back off. Rotates around towards the main. Oh, another scan does pick off the Observer. Trigger, he's taking his third base behind this as well. So he's not all in. He has done a good job just resetting the tank counts over and over again. Killing even more SCVs. Oh, he wants that tank desperately. Yeah, with these reinforcements, he can dive. Uh-oh. We have a second tank on the high ground. We just heard it siege. But we're going for the tank on the low ground. The second tank's not within range. Oh my god, and Trigger, has he done it? Has he finally broken through? It looks like he has. GG gets called. There is not enough, and Trigger will take game number 1. Let's go. Oh my god. Trigger, the killer instinct. There was so much pressure on Trigger, not just to counterattack, but to get on top of those first 2 tanks. He killed those 2 tanks so quickly, so decisively, and once he did, Björn, he was never able to get more than 1 tank out at a time. He was never able to keep up here with the aggression, with the pickoffs of Trigger, and here he is in the bottom right-hand corner, down in the series, Björn for Shopify. And in the top left, we have, for Team Basilisk, Trigger. They give us so little time. Is IVIP sick? I was fine, but during Future versus Silky, like I don't know, I swallowed in a weird way, and now I'm dying. I said swallowed in a weird way. I don't know. My throat's a little bit sore ever since the last series, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll recover. We'll be fine, Papi. We'll be fine. Ooh. As we are getting into this. So far, big shout out to the sponsors as well, you know, as we get into this series. Doyu, Honkai Star, Taido, and Autofool as well. Big shout out here to the sponsors. Without them, WCL wouldn't be a thing. We wouldn't have World Team League, wouldn't have these amazing matches. And yeah, Trigger, kicking things off here with a win. We mentioned before that, again, Trigger, his best matchup is PvT. He has beaten Beyond in the past, and he's looking to do so again. This time we do have that eBay on the low ground. Oh, we do have a lot more progression this time. We'll force out the unnatural natural of Trigger. We'll force it out. So far, a much better start this time for Beyond. Trigger, he wasn't able to get on top of that ahead of time, which means Beyond can get into the build that he wanted to in the previous game. This Hellion opener from Beyond is going to be that much more threatening. It's going to be that much more awkward for Trigger to defend both his main and his natural at the same time. And we'll see if he can pull it off. Again, this does usually lead into a Stargate opener as well, just because it is a little bit easier for Phoenixes and Oracles to dip between the bases and defend them to avoid, the terrain, essentially. So I'm curious if that is going to be the case here for Trigger. Meanwhile, Beyond getting into a CC on the low ground, going for his add-on swap, and like the previous game, should be getting into Hellions. And this time, these Hellions should be more successful. Meanwhile, we have our tech. It is going to be Stargate, as we just mentioned. Because Trigger was forced to expand in a really awkward position, that means he has to go Stargate. It is almost, I wouldn't say impossible, it's so difficult to try to defend both your bases, relying on Stalkers, especially without Blink. Like, even if we went for a Twilight Council opener, it takes time. It takes time to get into Blink, so it is very risky. As a result, Oracles and Phoenixes we will have to rely on. They will be on the way. Meanwhile, the first two Hellions are moving out, getting into our 1-1-1. Stargate is finishing up, and there it is, Phoenix is on the way. So the goal here, as a reminder, math-wise, it takes 3 volleys of a Hellion to kill a probe. So 3 Hellions do one shot. So ideally, these Phoenixes come out and they are able to lift up and CC some of these Hellions to be able to deny that kind of one-shot potential. Here we go, we're diving in. Overcharge is popped. So far, we're going to be holding on. Oh, they do take down one of those probes. But a high health Hellion was lifted. And so far, Trigger only loses 1 worker. Only 1. Not bad. Could have been worse. Could have been so much worse. As he's going to be holding behind this, we're getting into a drop. With a 1-1-1, we should be seeing Medevacs on the way and going for a mine drop. Meanwhile, Cyclones are in production. Up. Once again, Hellions get into the mineral line, but they just don't have the DPS. Not anymore. They get shut down. Again, 4 Hellions for 1 probe. Not worth it here for Beyond. But I appreciate that he's getting to Cyclone production to have an answer for these Phoenixes, as Trigger is looking to pick off some workers and pick off some of that economy. Has to be careful. There are some Widow Mines lying in wait, covering the production. Raven on the way as well. No going for drop play. Oh, the mines up. They will connect. Oh, and 1 Phoenix goes down. Big pick off here from Beyond. Trigger, he may have gotten some scouting information, but that was not worth it. Behind this, getting into his robo, working towards a bay. It looks like Phoenix Colossus is going to be the composition for Trigger. I'm imagining Phoenix Colossus. Otherwise, we would have already seen a Twilight Council for charge. And Beyond going straight for a 3rd CC. Oh my god. Third CC is on the way. So very economic here from Beyond. Typically, you would delay your 3rd a little bit longer for a stronger army, but Beyond, he's cutting corners. It means he wants to get into the mid-game in a good position with a boosted economy. Meanwhile, as we mentioned before, because there was still no Twilight Council, it should be Colossus, and there it is. The bay is on the way. Should be getting into Colossus production. We have a Safety Immortal coming out from Trigger as well, just to be able to defend against any kind of early game aggression. So the game is going to be settling from here. 3rd CC has been spotted, so Trigger, he's aware that he should be working on a 4th. Doesn't want to fall behind. Again, Protoss players ideally want to be up a base compared to the Terran. They want to be upper base, up in workers. Phoenix is going for a bit of a counterattack. Going to be threatening that natural. This time, Widow Mines are not in position. Oh no, I spoke too soon. I didn't think they were. Quick reactions out of Trigger. He doesn't lose the Phoenix, but he does take 2 mine shots to the face. Whew, oh my god. My heart stopped for a moment. I was like, oh no. And I love this out of Beyond. He's repositioning those Widow Mines, but they were just spotted by the Observer. Observer did spot the mines, and we're going right for them. Keen eyes out of Trigger. He shuts them down. Very nice moves. Likewise, Beyond going to be able to shut down the Observer as well. So a bit of a give and take. Trigger gets the mines. Beyond gets the Observer. Ooh, as we do rotate around, that Colossus looking a little bit exposed. The Colossus! Big disable. We dive on top of the army. Yeah, we're going to have to recall back home. Colossus will barely survive, but the Immortal gets left behind. No. Thankfully, there's no stim, but even without it, the Immortal's going to go down nonetheless. A brutal trade there for Trigger. Again, just a bit of a miss rally. He wasn't really looking to attack with that kind of awkward angle, and Trigger had to get the hell out of there. Did at least keep the Colossus alive. And again, thankfully, Stim wasn't done. Stim just now finished. If Stim was ready for that, then Trigger would have 100% lost everything. Oh. But now Phoenixes, they do get eyes on the army to take down the Viking. Well, they want that medevac if possible as well. We're backing up, forcing a Stim. Oh, we trade 1 Phoenix for an SCV. Trigger, he does have to be careful. Doesn't want to throw these Phoenixes away. No! Another Phoenix goes down. Ay, ay, ay. And again, Phoenixes, they still have value here in the mid game. You don't want to throw them away, because they do things like this. They deter drop play. Catching up the reinforcements, but again, we have a double jump going right for the natural. At the same time, another double jump going for the third. Trigger, can he keep up? We dive on the Colossus, and 1 Colossus goes down. Oh my god. Meanwhile, the second army pushes towards that third base. Charge is not done, by the way. We want a second Colossus. No shot. Can we get it? We barely don't. Colossus does survive. I spoke too soon. The Colossus survived in the natural, but not at the third base. And Trigger, he's falling apart. He lost 2 Colossi here in a matter of seconds. Zealots are being cleaned up. The overcharge does nothing. That's going to be 9, 12, 13, even more dead probes as we got into the mineral line. Again, Trigger, he was looking damn strong in game 1, but here in game number 2, he just cannot keep up. Again, because of the lack of Phoenixes, he couldn't deny the drops. He could not deny the medevacs. That's 22 dead workers. And Beyond, he's running away with this. He's up in the economy. He's up in the army. Has better tech. Disruptors. Ghosts are coming out for those EMPs. And what does Trigger really have left? He needs time. If Beyond were to back off and give him a couple of minutes, then Trigger, he can recover. But that is not going to happen. Widow Mines, they do get shut down, but here comes the main army of Beyond. This time with EMP. Oh boy. He's only got 1 ghost though. I don't actually know if the ghost is with the main army. Archons are coming out. Beyond just waiting for those reinforcements. Okay, we're making 3 ghosts at a time. Got a mine drop going towards the main. Pylon going to be going down. Trigger, he does react in time. He does pull back. Mine shot's going to be going off me, so they do catch the medevac. Beyond, oh my god, what are we thinking? We are going for a drop into the natural once again. The rest of the reinforcements rallying towards the third, going for the 1-2 punch for a second time. This worked well for Beyond earlier. Will it work well again? Fourth base is on the way. We can see the main army of Trigger is being distracted, and we go for the drop into the natural. Workers are going down. 7, 8+ workers. Temple Archives is exposed. We get the gas geysers as well. And we shouldn't get a Colossus this time. We should force a pickup. But again, we cannot chase down these Metamax. Where are the Phoenixes? Where are the Stalkers? At the same time, Beyond pushing towards that third. As he gets on top of the Nexus, forces a cancel as well. Oh no! We can step forward. Down goes another Stalker. And Beyond, he's just running away with this. Far ahead in supply. And this is one of those cases where the soup doesn't lie. We always point out when it does. This time it's not. It's honest soup. As we do see Trigger just trying to stabilize himself here, working on Blink, working on his upgrades, +3. But he's just spread so thin. And yeah, with like one main frontal assault, I do think that Beyond has too much to handle. Unless it were Disruptors or Storm, but the reality is that there isn't. Even with these Colossi, we have so many Vikings. Big EMP! And it does cover some of those High Templar, the Archons as well. Of course, we still have to respect the Colossus. We still have to be very careful here with how we engage. It is a delicate dance. But the overcharge just ran out. We got a Fusion Core on the way for Liberators, for Liberator range. Libs would be the nail in the coffin. There is no answer for Libs right now for Trigger. As Beyond is going to rotate. Try to get a better angle of attack. Making sure he has control of the Zelnaga. There it is. The Vikings, they lead the charge. They take down one Colossus already. Remember, Overcharge was already spent. They get a second Colossus. Now there's only one left. And soon to be 0 Colossi. We stim forward. We get on top of the Immortals. GG gets called. And Beyond will tie up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. And yeah, Beyond, he was able to play out his game this time. Remember, game 1, Beyond tried to eBay block. He went for a Rax into Factory. Didn't really work out. It kind of fell on its face a little bit. But here in game 2, Beyond did force out that unnatural natural. Did force a really awkward expansion location. Was able to try to wreak havoc there, pull apart his opponents. And didn't really get too many worker kills with his Hellions, but he did shut down the Phoenixes. Did shut them down. The drop play was insane, ambitious, and worked out quite well. GG. With that, we have a tied up series. And we're going to be getting into game number 2 for a bit of a tiebreaker here. Up next, after the break, Lambo versus Raynor in a ZVZ. See you soon. And oh my, who's behind? Is that Mark?
That is your thermal and skills, you know?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
Mark.
so.
That's Mark and Skills. I did hear about a boot camp that was going to be taking place, and here we go. We are my apologies. We are diving back into this next best of 2 between Lambo and Raynor. Ooh, in a ZVZ. And here we go. Game 1 is going to be on Hecate, and in the bottom left-hand corner we have for Shopify Rebellion, Lambo. And in the top right, we have his opponent. Ooh, for Team Basilisk, Raynor. Featuring Euthermal and Skillless. Oh, he's got his own like cheerleader squad behind him to cheer him on. Let's go. I mean, I'm hoping they're cheering for Rainer. Ay, ay, ay. But yeah, we are getting ready for our next ZVZ. Again, we're tied up 1-1, and the winner of this series, the winner of this game even, will grant their team a lead in this series. We'll gain momentum here. And who's it going to be so far? Hatch first. Hatch first from both Lambo and Rainer. Everything looking as it should for the time being. Oh, we're getting a zoom in. Oh, we're eating. What is that? Is that a McFlurry? It's ice cream, right? Or yogurt? I'm really curious. Mark, let us know. Ay. Rainer's training Mark. I think it's the other way around. I think. Oh, God. For now, though, again, Hatchcat's pool, standard openers here from both Lambo and Rainer. On a map like Hecate, that's kind of what we expect. I don't really expect to see any kind of crazy shenanigans on a map as standard, as large as this. I expect to see more of that on some of these smaller maps like Hardlead, for example, Oceanborn, even Golden Aura. But now that everything's looking as it should, really things are going to start to deviate once we expand and take our third bases, whether someone decides to skip a Bailey Nest, rush into Roaches, cut workers, go into Ling Bane aggression, or even ignore the third and go into two-base play. There is a lot available here. There's a lot on the table. Where are you going to take us? And we have seen Lambo defeat Rainer in the past. Lambo, he's kind of the coach, the sensei, if you will, and every now and then he's able to knock Rainer down a peg or two in the ZVZ matchup. We'll see if that does take place here. I want to say the last time that happened was in Home Story Cup. Was it Home Story Cup when they faced off in the group stage? I can't quite recall. I may be thinking of Lambo versus a laser. But for the time being, Overlord's going to be moving out. Do have a third base soon to be taken. Ooh, Lambo going into a second gas geyser and rushing into Lair. Bobby, what is going on? You can see that we have a drone in position as well to help wall off, to hide the tech. Lambo is going for two-base play. Rainer coming in for a scout. Up. No, the drone not quite in position. The Lings, they do get in, and we see everything. We see both gas geysers. We see the Lair as well. A crucial moment here for Rainer, and a bit of a blunder from Lambo. Ay. This was looking to be something like maybe two-base Muta, maybe just two-base Roach play. Roach Warren is on the way, but again, Rainer, he sees everything. Behind this, he knows to skip his Bailey Nest. He knows to get into Roaches, skip Link Speed if possible, and rush into his own lair. And that Ling is still alive as well. Oh my god, finally, it should be hunted down. We can see Lambo taking his third at this point. Now I'm curious. So Lambo, he's going to be cutting workers at 32. He still hasn't made any more drones. He may just go all in. Like, he's taking this third base just to lure his opponent into a false sense of security. Rainer is droning. Uh-oh. Rainer, he's making workers. Lambo isn't. But Lambo is also supply blocks. That could be leading into as to why. Overlord's now coming out, and yeah, Lambo, he's cutting workers at 32. No more droning, no more economy. Lambo, he's all in. Completely all in. And Rainer, because he saw the third, he's still making workers. And if, he's still making drones. If Rainer drones up his third, this Link Scout does see a handful of Roaches. That is a bit of a tell. But if Rainer keeps droning, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He saw the lack of gases. That should be enough of a tell. Rainer, we need an army. He droned up to 54. Crazy. He saturates his third base, and he may just be caught with his pants down. Lambo is pushing. He's droning behind this, but he is moving out with a massive Roach army. As I say that, Rainer does have the defender's advantage. Lambo, he doesn't go for the kill. He's droning up, so really he wants to try to shut down this third. Drone's being forced away, and we're going to be chasing them down. It's a lot of workers. Rainer doing his best to escape. He's trying to get out of here. Meanwhile, again, Lambo, he's droning heavily, catching back up, and he will catch these drones. Good stutter stepping. Good control. 8 dead workers and so much lost mining time. So Lambo, he wasn't able to kill Raynor like he wanted to, but he was able to do enough damage to catch back up into this. Now working on +2. Lambo getting supply block, remember there, so is Raynor, it's fine. Third bases are getting saturated. And this is still anyone's game. This is still anyone's game at this point. As the worker counts have evened up, a +2 range, neck and neck with each other. Lambo does have that roach speed advantage. Once again, Lambo, he isn't taking his gases. He's only on 4 gases. Lambo is cutting workers. Once again, Lambo is cutting workers at 54. Raynor, he's assuming that Lambo is droning. As a result, once again, Raynor, he is focusing on his economy when his opponent isn't. This is going to be a follow-up all-in from Lambo. Can Raynor keep up? Can Raynor, he did take his gases, drone up to 60. He did take a risk. And is he going to be punished for it? Now, what's important is that Raynor did drone, but not too much. He's only up 6 workers. And I do think that that's enough of a deviation to get away with. I don't think that's game ending. If Raynor had taken a 4th and droned up to like 66, then I would be concerned. But again, he didn't go for full 3-way saturation. He didn't go that far. So a much more tempered response this time from Raynor. He's now going to be droning, but he has a decent army. Like, he has an army to work with. And here we go. Lambo, he is all in. He caught workers much earlier on. He didn't take his gases. Not working on any other tech or 4th base. And yeah, we just have to send it at this point. The creep highway is upon us, but Raynor, he's in position. Able to keep up. Lambo is up in army supply. As he moves out, we do have a counterattack here from Raynor. Going straight for that 3rd base, and I don't think Lambo has much at home to defend. Here we go, Lambo trying to force his way up this ramp. Lyle's not quite going to be connecting. Good dodges here, but they will now connect here on Lambo. He's making his way through, trying to force his way into that 3rd. Drones are going down back at home. Lambo is gaining ground, but we have the defender's advantage. We have roaches trickling on out from Raynor. Can he hold up? Lambo, he's breaking through. He's getting on some of the Ravagers, getting on some of the Queens. The boys, they have to be pulled. Ay, ay, ay. Drones are going down. Raynor struggling here to hold on. And did he drone too much? Maybe he did. I was like, oh, he's only got 6 more workers. That should be okay. As Lambo, it looks like he has broken the defensive line. 17 drones go down, and Lambo, he just has far too much here. Getting every single worker at this 3rd. Takes down the Queen, gets on top of the roaches, and Lambo has done it. He is going to be taking a lead here for his team for Shopify. I was like, 6 drones, that's okay. Nah. In ZVZ, sometimes when you drone, you die, papi. GG gets called. Lambo does it. He takes game 1 versus Raynor. GG. GG, well played. Oh my god. And to be fair, it wasn't just those 6 drones. If you remember, Raynor did make another, I want to say, was it another 5 workers towards the end of that game? Like, he did make an extra wave once he thought he was safe. And I thought he was safe too. I was like, oh, Raynor, he's making another like extra pair of workers. I think he can probably get away with that. It should be okay. No, it wasn't just that. So it was Raynor joining up. I think he had like 10, maybe 11 more workers than Lambo. On top of that, he also had roaches across the map, which weren't at home defending as well. And when you're up against an all-in, you need everything possible here to hold on. Lambo able to break through. GG. GG, well played. The secondary all-in. Man, sometimes it can catch you off guard. It can catch you. Yeah. Definitely. I did notice Raynor make an extra wave of workers. And again, I thought he was safe to do so. I thought it was like, he's got enough of a ground army, like, should be okay. But no, just an extra pair. So extra wave of 6. And again, those roaches not being at home, every roach counts. And with that, Lambo takes game 1. But we'll see, can Raynor bring it back here in game number 2, as we're going to be loading into Equilibrium. curious. Again, Raynor, he's a very fast player. I'm wondering if Raynor does intend on taking the gold base that much faster. He could rush into that gold and be hyper aggressive. And here we go in the top left hand corner. We have the player leading the series for Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have for Team Basilisk, Raynor. Here we go. Okay, that was a roller coaster ride of emotions. Remember, initially, Lambo got scouted. Raynor was able to respond beautifully, which led into Lambo's initial attack, where he was able to even things up. Remember, Raynor, he got away with so much economy, so much droning earlier on. Then the worker counts were reset. It was, again, very back and forth. A very back and forth game. And oh my, Lambo. Let's go. I thought that Raynor was going to be the aggressor. Raynor, he's going for a hatch gas pool, taking the natural. Lambo is going for a pool first. Sorry, for a gas first. Gas first opener here from Lambo. Very aggressive. So this is going to lead into faster ling speed, faster bailings as well. And he's going for the gold. Hyper aggression coming out from Lambo. I'll be honest, I thought this was what Raynor was going to do. I expected this out of Raynor, not Lambo. Raynor going for a more conservative approach. He's going to be the defender. And here we go again. So with this, because Lambo has faster gas, there's going to be a window. There's going to be a window where Lambo has link speed and Raynor doesn't. There's also going to be a window where Lambo has bailings and Raynor doesn't either. So this is going to be a very scary defense here for Raynor. He needs to recognize what's going on fast enough. On top of that, because of the goal base as well, Lambo, he isn't like fully all in or anything, because he can main art and he can of course saturate that gold as well to keep his economy going, to be able to even surpass the economy of Raynor. Here we go. The Overlord is going to be dipping on forward. What will we see? We do not see the transfer, but we will see the lack of hatchery, which should lead into checking the gold base. Like Raynor, he can deduce that the gold has been taken. He should be aware. Now, he may not be aware which gold. There's a world where maybe the forward gold was taken instead, but in a ZVZ, that's crazy. There's that bailiness we were talking about. Again, gas first usually leads into bailings in ZVZ. It's kind of how you want to play it out. Raynor going for the gold? Papi. This is... he throws down a third base. This is maybe too greedy. Oh my god. Investing into a third hatchery when Lambo is going gas first. Okay, I mean, if Raynor defends, he's going to be ahead, to be fair. So here we go. Raynor, he even makes an extra pair of drones. Oh my god. No spine crawler. That's the other thing that could have been helping Raynor here. He's going for a defensive bailing nest. And here we go. Lambo is pulling the trigger. Ling speed of Batiki and bailings have been revealed. Good splits here from Raynor. We go first round. We catch a queen. The Lings. Lings are being zoned away. And the Lings will go down. And this may just be too much. Yeah, we bust into the main base. We do have a couple of reinforcing Lings on the way. We don't want to waste these bailings. We don't want to waste them. They're spent on some of these drones. We need them on the Lings. Another queen is going to go down. And if we can get on top of these morphing and bailings, we can just end the game. We go for the mineral line. We have one bailing left. Lambo running out of steam. He can maybe focus down some of these drones, but Raynor is holding. Yeah, Raynor, he does hold. That morphing and bailing doesn't quite finish. Lambo, he was kind of stuck between going for economic damage or killing Lings, and yeah, things got really chaotic. Things got really messy. Things got very messy. I thought I do believe there was a lot of potential there for Lambo, but did fumble the ball. And now Raynor, he is going for a big counterattack. Bailings are being wasted. This is still up in the air. Lambo, he's down in workers, but he has better saturation at the gold. Drone's going to be going down across the map. Oh my god, Raynor losing some workers. I believe it was towards the natural. And here we go. Lambo's pushing out. Show us the main fight. The Ling Bane. Ling Bane aggression is upon us. Lambo pushing forward here with 6 bailings. Bailings still on the way for Raynor. Yeah, they are slowly morphing in. They're going to be able to finish up. Likewise, Lambo has to be very careful with his own baneling movement. Doesn't want to trade too inefficiently. Doesn't want them to bunch up. No. As he does get into the main base, just out-positioning his opponent. Raynor, the banelings are coming in. They wall into the middle line. They will connect. 10 drones go down. Massive connections. Oh my god. Raynor down to 11 drones. Again, Raynor just having a hard time defending his goal base and his main at the same time. Lambo, he will be bleeding out these lings. Just rotate over, checks the gold. Again, Raynor, he still has decent saturation at the goal base, but another drone goes down. And we need banelings. Both players need banelings desperately right now. As Lambo does take an economic lead. There's more banelings on the way. Raynor, now it's his turn to be the aggressor. These banelings from Lambo, they feel a little bit late, but he has 2 banelings ready. He has them ready to defend. Ooh, Queen does get caught out. Lambo, he's having a hard time defending both bases. Being pulled apart a little bit. Banelings are still standing strong. Oh no! Oh my god. Lambo taking 1 baneling to the face. But it looks like this other, is going to be shut down as well. Ooh, Lambo, he does survive. Gets knocked down to 15 drones. Barely ahead in workers. And it all comes down to the micro, to the control. Does bleed out one of his banelings. He is getting into the mineral line. A bit of a waste there as well. That's 3 banelings for 2 drones. Ay, ay, ay. But it looks like Lambo may just have too much anyway. He's overwhelming with his Ling Bane. He just has to avoid the banelings and he's going to be okay. He will avoid them. He's trying to chase out these drones and he will. He catches the last workers here of Raynor. At the same time, Lambo also losing drones across the map. Oh my god. Lambo avoiding that, and GG gets called. Lambo, he will barely edge it out, and he gets the 2-0. GG, well played. Amidst all the chaos, and again, I do think that Raynor was a little bit too greedy earlier on. Was droning up quite a lot here compared to the aggressive opener, and there were no spine crawlers, we were lacking queens. Lambo, he was able to snowball out of control. Early on, I do think there was a little bit more potential for damage, but regardless, Lambo, he kept the momentum in his favor, gets a 2-0, GG. And with that, Shopify need 1 win. 1 win, which is not impossible. Up next is Hearthstone versus Serral. I know Serral, he is an amazing player, but Serral has been losing games. Serral, he has been dropping ELO here in WTL. Protoss players have been finding weak points and have been causing upsets. We'll see if that continues to be the case. We're going to be going on a break. Up next, Hearthstone versus Serral. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our final best of 2 here of this Team League match of WTL of World Team League. And the pressure is on Cyril here to take this 2-0 to force the ace match. Now, I was quickly having a look at some of the history of this season. And again, Cyril, he's been dropping maps mainly to Zerg players. There's only been one Protoss this entire season of WTL. One Protoss that has taken maps off of Cyril. And it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. It's Firefly. Firefly was the only one to do it. Can Hearthstone follow suit? Can he do what Firefly could to win the series, to win it all here for Shopify? It would be a massive win if they could, if he did. And I'm sure Hearthstone is coming in prepared. Hearthstone, he's one with quirky builds. He's one with unique all-ins. I'm ready for it. And never mind. Looks like we are going to be remaking. This is a bit of a bug that does happen in StarCraft. Sometimes when you load into a custom game or even a ladder game, you get like I think it's like a Twitch, like pink UI by default. It's an indie game. It is a known bug. It does happen. It does happen where your console is messed up. So we are going to be remaking that lobby, and hopefully Hearthstone isn't too shaken by that. Hopefully, again, he can focus on his game here. And again, we have seen Hearthstone play very uniquely. Like, whenever we cast Hearthstone, he does come in with his own builds. He has some hyper greedy builds with like faster third Nexi. We've seen some aggression. We've seen some all-ins. We've seen some Sky Toss. I'm ready. I'm ready to see what the captain has been cooking in the kitchen. I'm hungry. Give me food, Papi. Give me food. Predictions are open. I say that. Predictions are now closed. Best of luck to everyone that did place their bets here on this series. They went into the void, Ray. Into the void, Ray. Ahí está, papi. Ay. Once again, Cyril looking good here. We did just see he has been knocked down quite a bit here in ELO. Again, there was a time where Cyril had the highest ELO in the entire league. Now he has been surpassed by Maru. Maru has been looking a little bit stronger here so far this season of WTL. We'll see if that trend does continue. I believe Maru has gotten up to 1,000. I think he has just over 1,000 ELO, which is impressive. Very impressive. Highest by far. Here we are getting ready. Just have to remake the lobby, get things ready, get things going. All good. And when it comes to Cyril, I imagine that he's just, again, going to be the responder here. He's going to be reacting to what Hearthstone brings to the table. Game 1 is going to be brutal. It's on Equilibrium, known by many, known by most as a more Zerg-friendly, Zerg-favored map in the map pool, just because of the logo rush distance by ground, a lot of bases to be taken, the goal base as well, which is very natural to kind of take as your third or your fourth. Cyril is going to be comfortable here on Equilibrium, which is why I'm curious as to what Hearthstone can do to really shake him, to break him, to knock him off balance, off center, and sneak out a win. On Equilibrium, what am I feeling? I feel like you have to be aggressive. I feel like if you're too passive, if you're too tech heavy. Okay, so the problem with being too tech heavy, specifically on Equilibrium, which would work on Alcyone, for example, which is like you go double Robo Colossus production, double Forge, take a third, take a fourth, and build up a death ball of an army. That's fine on a map like Alcyone. On Equilibrium, or even right as a station, on Equilibrium, because of the goal base, the Zerg player gets out of control. That's the thing. Like, if you're too defensive and too tech heavy, then you just give the entire map to the Zerg and they can max out that much faster because of the gold. So that's why I'm feeling something more aggressive here out of Hearthstone. I feel like you need to try to punish the Zerg here a little bit more, but we'll see. I'm gearing towards a Twilight Council opener, or maybe a Stargate into a Twilight Council afterwards. But we'll see. We'll see what Hearthstone has to offer. And he's had a couple of days, to prepare, to think, to ruminate, to go over this best of 2, to think about the scenarios. And I want to believe that he is someone that takes like preparation seriously here. He's got a big brain. Time to make use of it. we go. Bionna's won as many maps as Mario this WTL season. Yeah, but he doesn't have as high ELO, right? Because Bionn started lower, I'm assuming, because of last season. I was talking about ELO, Pat. Bearing in mind that that ELO is calculated based on previous seasons as well, as that all comes into play when it's aggregated and when it is, when it is formulated in a way. So again, the ELO isn't just this season of WTL; it is previous seasons, or all seasons actually, all seasons of World Team League coming together. And yeah, I guess we're having some issues. I don't I don't know if maybe like they remade the game and the console bug occurred again for a second time, which would be crazy. Oh, no, there we go. We're back in. And in the top right-hand corner of Equilibrium, we have a Shopify Rebellion. It is Hearthstone. And in the top left, we have his opponent, Cyril, for Team Bastards. Let's go. Here we go. As we settle on into this. Cyril, as to be expected, going straight for the gold. This is the power of Equilibrium. The gold base can be taken quite early on as your natural, your third base, or your fourth base. You know, each one kind of a different form of greed, essentially. And Cyril, he's going straight for it as his natural. This is also why I said leading into this that I feel like on Equilibrium, as a Protoss player, you have to be aggressive because you cannot allow a Zerg player to just get away with the free gold and get a boosted economy as a result. So we'll see. We'll see if Hearthstone can punish this, or we'll see how he approaches this scenario. As he is setting up for a gate expand. So pretty standard opener here from Hearthstone. Still in the dark, but again, too early to really get a read on this and too early to really punish this as well. It's about the follow-up. As Hearthstone is going for a delayed probe scout. Interesting. Okay, so cutting some corners. Probe now going to be moving out across the map, but again, too late to deny a hatchery, of course, as we already have one. But should be able to get a read on what bases have been taken and what economic state Cyril is in. As Cyril is going to be main-eyeing over, just saturating that gold base as quickly as he can. Now, what also is important here, if Hearthstone does go for a Stargate opener, for example, is that it's going to be a little bit difficult, or it's going to be on Cyril to split up his queens and defend both mineral lines at the same time, because it can be difficult here to keep up with the Oracle and Adept Harass. As Hearthstone has confirmation, he has eyes on the gold. Fully aware. And it is going to be a Stargate opener. So Stargate opener out of the Hearthstone, so it's going to be on the Oracles and the Adepts as well, you know, working together here to try to punish this greed, try to get into the mineral line and get some worker kills. Meanwhile, Cyril, he knows that this is coming. He knows that right now there's a lot of pressure on him to be able to split up his army and defend both his gold and his main. We'll see if he can pull it off. Cyril, he is rising to the challenge. First Adept threatens a shade, but we shouldn't commit. Again, there's plenty in position to deflect it. Hearthstone getting into his first Oracle. Another Adept on the way so far. Hasn't lost anything, thankfully. The Overlord Scout did confirm the Stargate as well as the first unit. So Cyril, he knows it's not going to be a Void Ray. He's aware of the Oracles that are on the way. We have 2 Queens at the gold. I believe we should have 2 Queens in the main. Oracle is moving out. Hearthstone must be very careful not to lose too much shields or not to take too much damage here. Oh, does rally into the mineral line and go straight for the drones. Doesn't get any of them, though. Ay. Not a good start here for Hearthstone. Took a lot of hull damage, now deep in the red, and did not get a worker. At the same time, he's going for the gold, but Cyril is here. Does get eyes on it. Now, to me, this is a read that maybe we're just trying to get into the mid game. Twilight Council's on the way. No forge. Let's go. Okay, so Harstam's going to be backing off. With no forge on the way, this looks like Glaives, but if I remember correctly, I know that Harstam, he has a build where he goes into Blink even without a forge. So I'm curious. I'm curious if this is going to be Glaives or Blink from our Protoss. Glaives would be a good way to punish this. Meanwhile, Cyril getting into a Baneling nest, skipping his Roach Warren, going Ling Bane, and there it is. There is Blink. So again, we have seen Harstam do this before, where even without a forge, he just goes into Blink anyway, and he goes for later upgrades. It's very unique to Harstam. Hero does something similar, but Heroes goes into a 3-base all-in. There he goes. Blink is on the way. Harstam going to be saturating his bases, trying to get into that gold. And Cyril, with his Ling Bane, he will have the opportunity here to punish him. There we go. As 18 Lings are on the way. Cyril soon to be moving out. And this gold base looking quite exposed. The Rich-Resting Gas guys are going to be coming in clutch as well. Overlord is going to be hunted down. Lings are going to be pushing on the right-hand side. And Baneling should soon be on the way for Cyril. Of course, getting into his own Rich-Resting Gas Geyser. I mean, yeah. Roach Warren for Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Or Ling Bane Roach. And so far, Harstam, he doesn't see the army. That's a lot of Banelings. Oh my god. 16 Banelings being morphed in. They don't have speed, but they can waddle in. Meanwhile, Harstam rushing into a Flea Beacon. I kind of like this, but god, he's just so spread thin. He moves out. He misses the army. This gold base, it's in a lot of trouble. It is in a lot of trouble as Harstam is pushing onto creep. The Lings flood in. Overcharges pop, but the Banelings, they can have their way with this mineral line. 7 dead workers. Shield battery goes down. And Harstam, he has to race back home. He's already lost so much. 11, 12, 13 probes. Oh my god. 14 even. And again, Harstam, sure, he's rushing into Skytoss. That's great and all, but he just doesn't have the economy he needs. And there it is. Carriers are on the way. Sorry, Cyril getting ready for another run by. No saturation at all here at the gold. The Lings still being very active. The Banelings have been spotted. They have been seen. Lings going for a dive on these Stalkers, but we have Oracles to support, so for now, Harstam is safe. For a moment, though, because Cyril, he's not slowing down. He's looking for another fourth, looking for another base to just harass and shut down. And we have options. The Banelings, do they go for the natural? Do they go for the third? They're going straight for the third base once again. Bane's going to try and push on forward. Overcharge is popped. Cyril is going to respect it. Respects the overcharge, respects the army as well. Carriers are on the way. Behind this, Cyril, he's drawn up to 60. He can drone up to 80 at this point. He has map control. He has full map control even. Infestation pits. Up to 4 base, soon to be 5 base saturation. He hasn't seen the carriers yet. He's in the dark as of the transition, but he was in the dark. Oh my god, he doesn't see. Carrier is hidden. Just barely kept out of range. I'm sure that was intentional. I hope that was intentional. As a result, still no Spire, still no Hydrogen, no anti-air other than Queens. Cyril not fully aware as to what's going on. It's going to be 7 Queens here to defend. I'm loving the SimCity. I'm loving the wall here from Harstam. He needs to slow the game down. He needs to wall off. And here the carriers have finally been revealed. They have been spotted. Banelings will be rolling on forward. They take down the sentry. And the Lings, they do collapse on this. We're committed. We have to be because of the carriers. The Banelings, they do roll on forward. Good force fields. Oh my god. Harstam. A much more solid defense here at the gold. Lings, they go for a surround at the 4th, but they should be shut down. And Harstam, he does hold quite nicely. The downside is that he did have to reveal his hand. He did have to reveal his carriers, something that I'm sure he wanted to keep hidden a little bit longer. As a result, Sterile is getting into the Spire. Hive is done. Viper should be on the way. And Sterile is already at 80 workers. He already has a solid economy. So Sterile is going to be the first to max out. Basically, for the next couple of minutes, Harstem is going to be the defender. He's going to have to try... Oh, as we contaminate the Stargate. Oh my god. But Harstem is going to be stuck at home, and he has to be the one to absorb all these blows for, again, a couple of minutes until he maxes out. Not impossible, but it's going to be difficult. Lings, they try to crash through this wall. They're going to be shut down, but as the army gets dragged out of position, Sterile is going for a big counterattack towards that natural. So far, the wall is solid. We have a shield battery. We have the overcharge, keeping that Cybercore alive. And we go first round. We collapse on the Stalkers. A couple of Stalkers will get picked off. But the Roaches are going to be going down. This is a rough trade for Sterile. But the Lings, they get into the mineral line. They get into the 4th base. They do just focus down that Nexus, and they will get it. Big pick off here from Sterile. Very nicely done. That's going to be a kill on a Nexus and 8 workers as well. Again, just no stack defense. Harstem a little bit too confident in his army positioning here to have any stack defense to defend. Does pay for it. Meanwhile, Sterile, he's remaxing with Corruptors. That's a lot of Corruptors. The Queens are pushing forward as well to transfuse to keep these Corruptors going. We have plenty of anti-air. Carriers, they're not going to cut it. We need something more on the ground. We need Archons. Storm. We do have Storm, but no Archons. So Carriers are going to push them forward. Big Storm here on the Corruptors. Not too bad. But we have the counter transfuse. Lings pushing towards the natural base. So far, Harstem splitting up. Queens are overextending. We do pick off a couple of them, and Harstem will hold. For the most part. Did lose the Cybercore, which is a little bit brutal. That will delay upgrades. That will delay +2 air attack. We even depower the shield battery. Oh my god, Sterile doing a lot with a little here. Gets into the mineral line. All it takes is a handful of Lings. 15 workers go down. Too many losses here for Harstem. Ay. Not like this. And this entire time, Sterile has just been happily mining, is remaxing once again. Like, this push was worth it for Sterile. He may not have killed any carriers, but he crippled the economy. And he denied the upgrades, or delayed the upgrades. With that, Sterile is going to back up. He's going to rebuild, remax. Ultras, Vipers, more Corruptors. Well, he kept his Corruptors alive. And now with Spellcasters, Sterile is going to have a much easier time engaging with the Skytoss. Harstem still building up his army. Rebuilding his economy. Still down to sub 60 workers. Less than 3 base saturation. That is, again, brutal. But he is maxing. He is maxing out. He has a pretty terrifying army. Especially with those storms. I'm not too sure how many High Templar. We have, I want to say, 4 or 5 High Templar. Oh, as a Ling counterattack comes in. Getting a couple of workers. Dropper Lord's on the way. I love this. Sterile looking to pull apart Harstem. Ultras have been revealed. So the way this works is that the Ultras, their goal, their role even, is to get on top of the High Templar, to shut down the storms. And once there's no more storm, once the ground army has been deterred, then the Corruptors, of course, can dive on top of those carriers. But here comes the push. Oh, Void Ray does overextend. First Void Ray goes down, second as well. Big storms here on those Corruptors. Storms once again zoning them away. The Ultras are trying to break through, but they cannot. And Harstem not taking a bad fight here. Cleans up all the Ultras, but I believe he lost his High Templar. Yeah, you can see there on the units tab, he has 3 High Templar left. Meanwhile, Sterile, he can remax. There we go, 4 more Ultras on the way. Cyril also didn't throw away his Corruptors. He did take some Storms, like 2 or 3 Storms to the face, but he kept his Corruptors alive. He's going to be backing off. Going for those transfuse. But again, that was a decent fight from Hearthstone. You can see here, though, that because of Hearthstone's economy, or because of his lack of economy, even though he cleaned up all those ultras, like, he still lost his ground force, and he can't rebuild. Like, he's having a really hard time remaxing. Doesn't have a bank to work with. Again, this is the importance of the economy. Here we go. Cyril pushing in once again. Hearthstone in a really awkward position, actually. The Oracles, they overextend. 2 of them go down. Nice pickups here from Cyril. High Templar, oh my god, those High Templar are so vulnerable. Gonna rotate around. The Immortal! The Immortal is gonna get caught out. Overcharge, doing what it can to keep it alive. But there's just too much DPS. Immortal does fall. And you can see Hearthstone just having a really hard time rotating between that gold and his natural. Exposing the gold base. Hearthstone trying to keep up, but that's going to be a kill on his Nexus. Nice abduction. Gets 1 carrier. Gets a 2nd carrier as well. Hearthstone unable to be in position. No feedbacks on the Vipers. And Hearthstone, he's just being picked apart. Okay, just really patient play here from Cyril. He knows what he can get away with. But big storms, though. Oh my god. The storms will deter Cyril. He has to respect it. Oh, has to respect the Archons as well, but he does get on top of 1 carrier. Gets 1. Gets the Void Ray. He's going to get the next carrier, and everything in the air goes down. Only the Mothership survives. Hearthstone now going for a ground composition instead. He just warped in a wave of Zealots. Going for Immortals. There is no Greater Spire. These Corruptors are dead supply. Uh-oh. Cyril, what do we have on the ground? Queens, we have 5 Ultras. Vipers are doing what they can. They do get the Mothership. And it comes down to the ground army. Do we have enough? That's still a lot of Ultras. But do we have enough? The Immortals, they're going ham on these Ultras. 1 of them goes down, a 2nd and a 3rd. And this ground army is breaking through. Hearthstone, he's pushing on through, breaking through the Ultras and the Queens as well. We need the Greater Spire. Space is going to be going down. The Corruptors, they go across the map. Hearthstone, he's making some magic happen here, but the Greater Spire just finished, which means we can morph in Broodlords. But Cyril's maxed out. He makes 8 Ultras. Oh my god. We have 8 Ultras, sorry, 7 Ultras on the way. I'm not too sure if that's going to be the right call here. Corruptor is going for a backstab, forcing a recall. But the recall may just be too late. Yeah, it's too little too late. Both next side go down. Hearthstone down to like half a base economy. Yeah, and you can see that he's being pulled apart. There's just too much. GG gets called. And Cyril takes game number 1. At the end there, Hearthstone, he did win a fight, but he was all in. He was completely all in. There was no more longevity in that game for Hearthstone, being pulled apart economically. And in the end, did run out of steam. GG. Cyril did take game number 1, but that was also an Equilibrium. You know, that's like the most Zurich favorite map in the map pool. That, like, it couldn't have been a worse map for Hearthstone. Aye. Cyril getting away with so much, getting away with the gold base as well. But now we're getting into game number 2. And I'm curious, where does Hearthstone take us? Yeah, I was about to say Rad's Station. Makes plenty of sense. This is the polar opposites. Equilibrium is like the most Zerg favorite map here for a ZVP. Rad's Station, the most Protoss favorite. The most Protoss favorite map here in the map pool. So we get the 2 extremes here. Can Hearthstone pull this off? Can he cause an upset on Radisson Station? There's a lot working for him. We have seen Cyril lose on Radisson Station before. Will it happen again? Will it happen again? Oh boy, it looks like Hearthstone, he did ask for a small break. Don't blame him. The pressure is on. Ugh, there's a lot here for our players, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can bring it back. Oh boy. We'll see if Harsum can make some magic happen. I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. Being pulled apart economically. Are you looking at my bank account? Oh, smooch. 60 workers means 30 more army supply for army though. Oh, copium, Bobby, copium. It's okay. We don't need workers. It's fine. It's fine. Get rid of them. We just want to make army. True, true. Here we go. So yeah, we'll see what Harsum has planned for us. We have seen a lot of really greedy play on Radisson Station. It is an easier map to rush into Skytoss. So Harsum getting into those fast carriers, it was a little bit shaky on Equilibrium. It is going to be much stronger here on Radisson Station. The problem is that I don't think it's a good idea to go for the same build 2 games in a row. That's my concern here, is that this is going to be, or rushing into carriers and rushing into Skytoss and a Fleet Beacon is something that Harsum already tried, and as a result, Cyril, he's already primed. He's already like primed for that. He's already practiced for that. So I'm curious if Harsum has something different for Radisson Station. I'm curious if he has something else in store for us instead. Something interesting that we've seen is that we have seen a couple of Protoss players actually go for all-ins on Radisson Station. The reasoning for this, and this is actually how Cyril died. The last time we saw him on Radisson Station was that you cut too many corners. You cut too many corners, you're being too greedy, and then you get caught off guard just because your opponent comes in, you know, with an all-in. Like, whereas a Protoss player should be being greedy, they should be being economic, and then they catch you off guard. They catch you with their pants down. We'll see if that works. We'll see if that can work out here, or if Harsum just goes for like greed and just goes for an economic game. We'll see what his approach is going to be here in game number 2. Again, if Cyril wins this game, then it's going to be going to the ace match. If Harsum wins this, then Shopify takes it. Shopify will win the series. Harsum just needs 1 game. That's all he needs. Can he pull it off? Here we go, as we're going to be loading on in. And in the bottom left-hand corner of Radisson Station, we have the blue Protoss for Shopify, Harsum. And in the top right, we have his opponent, the red Zerg player for Team Basilisk. It is Cyril. Here we go. Now, how greedy are we going to be? This is a question for both Harsum and Cyril as well. We have seen a lot of gasless openers. A lot of gasless openers here on Radisson Station, just because you can cut corners, you can delay your gases, delay link speed, and just rush into a faster third base as quickly as you can. So I'm curious if Cyril is going to do the same. Likewise, we'll see how greedy Harsum is going to be. For now, hatch first. Hatch first out of Cyril. Harsum setting up his wall on the low ground at the natural. And he is rallied to take his gas. Okay, so important to take note. Cyril isn't going gasless. He isn't going crazy, and he isn't cutting too many corners. He's opening up safely. Hatch, gas pool. Standard opener out of Cyril. It is going to be a standard opener. Meanwhile, now my eyes divert to Harsum. As it's going to be a gate expand into the cyber core. Everything looking normal for the time being. Now, if you maybe haven't tuned into Radisson Station before, and I wouldn't blame you, we really only get to cast Radisson Station on or in WTL because there's no vetoes. This is the most vetoed map in the map pool, so we rarely get to see it. The reasoning for this is because of the pocket base. Oh, I mean, there's a multitude of reasons. We have a pocket base as the third. We also have as the fourth a very secure fourth base location. We have narrow entry points into that fourth. There's no kind of high ground disadvantage or anything like that, so it could also be very difficult to break a player on 4 bases. So it's basically like a free 4 base setup. Likewise, when it comes to Terran matchups, there's no Reaper Cliff coming into the natural or into the main. You have to go through the ramp. That's the only way in. So it can be very difficult to scout as well. As Hearthstone is going for a Stargate opener. Now, if this is a normal PvZ, I would assume this is going to be Void Ray first, into a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon, into like a Tempest Rush. But that feels really played out on this map. That's what everyone does. And I don't want to see what everyone does on Radisson Station. I want to see what Hearthstone does. I want to see something different. I want to see something unique, something wild and crazy. We'll see. But now, Zealot first out of Hearthstone. This is already an interesting move. Something unexpected to begin with. I'm curious if we're going to let it finish. There's that Void Ray that we were talking about. Again, if this was any other Protoss, it'd be Void Ray first. We shut down the Overlord. Second Stargate, Fleet Beacon. And so far, it's looking to be similar. There we go. We do cancel the Zealots. Makes sense. Getting into that Sentry. Void Ray will shut down this Overlord. Now, personally, I would love to see, again, we shift gears, go into the third, and go into a Twilight Council follow-up instead, just to try to catch Serral off guard. As we cancel the Sentry, we go back into the Zealot. Oh my god. Just playing here with the vision and scouting, of course, of Serral. There we go. Void Ray does pop out, shuts down the Overlord, and it is going to be a Fleet Beacon. So it is, it's what everyone does. Very standard play here on Radisson Station, which is going to be standard play would be a Tempest Rush. We'll see if Hearthstone does something crazy and goes for a carrier instead. As the Fleet Beacon is on the way. Third base being taken as well as the pocket. Serral going to a pretty early lair. That's a 4-minute lair timing. Oh my. Okay, I'm curious. We have seen fast lairs on Radisson Station, and we have seen it be only for like fast overseers to scout. Meanwhile, there's that Tempest on the way. Am I crazy? It's only one Stargate, right? We're rushing into Tempest, but gases are being taken. There is no tectonic destabilizers. Usually, if you go into a Tempest Rush, we get into the upgrade of Tempest, which does bonus damage to structures. I'm really curious. Hearthstone. Yeah, we're only making one Tempest at a time. We're going for ground toss. Yep, there it is. This is what I wanted. This is what I was hoping for. Okay, so what everyone does is we rush into Sky Toss, and Hearthstone is faking it. He's faking Sky Toss. He intentionally reveals his Tempest as the Tempest does waddle out into the open, is spotted by a Ling, and bam, immediately Forge, Twilight Council. It should be Blink and +1, and Serral is reacting. Is going for Aspire, going for Corruptors. This is beautiful. This is what I wanted. Okay, so Hearthstone faking Sky Toss, going into Ground Toss. Oh, we don't want to throw it away. No, the move command. Oh, this is not the best start. We take a lot of damage. Look, I get it. You want to pump up Serral. You want him to be lured in. As it looks like we are having a little bit of latency on the stream. No, don't drop us. Okay, we're good. Oh, but again, the Tempest did accidentally float into that natural base. Did take a lot of damage. Did not die, thankfully. Thankfully, did not die, but is going to be out there. Oh, it looks like we're going for the refresh, which means we're going to be jumping ahead. I'll try to catch up. Yeah, we do apologize for some of the technical issues, but should be clearing up here. As the Tempests have revealed themselves, they get 2 worker kills. Again, the Tempest survived, so if you missed out on anything, it was just a Tempest just flying too close to the sun, but did survive. Meanwhile, there is the ground toss transition. We got 5 gates on the way, +1 as well. Mutas are in production. Ooh, Serral, has he smelled this out? Mutas is an interesting one, not Corruptors. Roaches are on the way as well. I'm really curious to see how this dynamic works. Now, Mutas in high enough numbers can shut down Tempest, but there are no Roaches. So he's doubling down on Mutas. We're going for the proxy. Let's go. We're going for the gold. Nexus is on the way to throw down some shield batteries, some cannons, lay siege upon the bases of Serral. Hearthstone, he was in the chat a couple of weeks ago. We were watching Max Packs here on this map. Max Packs versus Lambo. We saw something very similar, and it looks like Hearthstone, he was inspired. as he's still just making one Tempest at a time. Muta's coming for a big counterattack, but there are Stalkers in position. Blink's still not done though. Probes are going down. We were not ready for this. Harsum woefully underprepared for Mutas. Yeah, it's going to be 12 dead, 13 dead workers. We go for the Void Ray as well. Ay, ay, ay. Cyril getting so much done with these Mutas. And Harsum just cannot keep up. Not like this. Everything was going well. Everything was looking good. But these Mutas are winning Cyril the game. They take down 23 plus workers. And despite the tech switch, despite what Harsum's doing, Cyril, he's remaxing on Roaches. He's making nothing but Roaches back at home. We have a ground army. This Blink Stalker transition is not going to be good enough. Not anymore. It's taken too long. GG gets called. It's just too much. And Cyril will take game number 2. Taking the 2-0. GG. GG, well played. But I appreciate the enthusiasm. I appreciate the build of Harsum. I love that he wasn't, you know, conforming to the norms of Radisson Station. He was trying to bring out his own flair. He was trying to do his own thing, trying to catch Cyril off guard. And I love the mind games. I love the mind games. I love, again, the build choice as well. It was good. Good stuff. Didn't work, but I loved it nonetheless. GG, well played. Cyril does take the 2-0, which means we're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game 7. It all comes down to Golden Aura. And the question becomes, who do we send out? Who gets sent out as the ace? Now, the obvious picks would be Cyril and Lambo. They would be the obvious picks here. The reason why I say that is because Cyril, of course, everyone has a weakest matchup, and Cyril's weakest matchup is ZVZ. We've seen Cyril fall to a lot of Zerg players already this season, not just in WTL, but in tournaments in general. Shout out to Solar, by the way. The antithesis to Cyril. So that would be the choice that makes the most sense. But is that too obvious? You know, and again, Cyril, he has been working on his ZVZ. I mean, I guess we also have to emphasize as well, Lambo did just 2-0 Rainer. Like, his ZVZ is on point. Like, he's got the confidence boost as well of 2-0ing Rainer. Like, I'm sure Lambo, he's on cloud 9 right now. He's feeling good. He's feeling confident. So again, Lambo versus Cyril would make the most sense. Personally, I would love something wild like Beyond versus Cyril. Like, I like, but that's just me itching for a ZVT. You know, like I'm salivating for like a solid ZVT. Like, that'd be amazing. But on paper, like, the logical choice here for the snipe of Cyril would be Lambo. I'm sure Beyond, Lambo, and Harsum, I'm sure they're all like having a bit of a discussion, a bit of a huddle. They're discussing amongst themselves, like, how do they want to approach this? How do they want to approach Cyril as well? Golden Aura, thinking about a ZVT, especially Beyond's style of ZVT, I wouldn't be opposed just because of the shorter rush distance by ground. You can gain a little momentum and just be hyper aggressive here as well with a bio-based composition. That is something to bear in mind. ZVZ on Golden Aura sounds really scary. Really scary. There's the goal base, of course. There's a short rush distance by ground. Your 3-base defensive setup isn't as strong in ZVZ as it is, you know, in some of these other matchups. Yeah, there's a lot to consider. I think the map is very, very influential here. Very much so. Like, if this was like a normal map, then I would say otherwise. But Golden Aura has some pretty important features. So I'm curious. Very curious here. The other thing to bear in mind is if this is going to be a ZVT, then likewise, Cyril can cut corners and he can go gasless. That is something that we've seen a lot of in ZVT here. And if you can get away with a gasless opener, like, it can be brutal. It can be brutal. Let's go. His mind game backfired on him. How's I? It was good though. It was a good game. Good game. I loved it. I think Radisson Station, Harsum versus Cyril may be the highlight for me for the night. Maybe the highlight. Bastards doesn't have anyone to send out to counter Lambo though. True. I don't think I would be confident in Trigger versus Lambo. I think that's also why, like, I'm like picturing, I'm more theorizing about who comes out for Shopify, because I feel like it's a secure choice. I feel like Cyril has to be the pick here for for Team Basilisk. I don't think there's room for Raynor or Trigger here. I think it has to be Serral. I think he has to be the pick. When it comes to Shopify, I think they have more wiggle room. But we'll see. Teams are still deciding amongst themselves. Still figuring it out. Here we go. As a reminder, this is a best of one. It all comes down to this final game, this final map. One best of one. Oh boy. Pressure is on. This is when we go for like a wild pick of like Trigger Bjorn. Should be crazy. But yeah, we could just go for something out of left field instead. Have a wild approach. I mean, I would love to see an ace match between Trigger and Bjorn, right? Like they went 1-1 earlier. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but that would be crazy. Again, I think because of the high chance of Lambo being picked here, I don't think Trigger would be wise because I do think that Trigger's worst matchup is PVZ. I do think that's the matchup that Trigger struggles in the most. So if you're gambling and if you think that the high chance of Lambo is, or if you think there's a high chance of Lambo, I don't think Trigger would be a wise choice here. We'll see. Do we have any theories in the chats? Any wild picks? This is when Roddy comes out, right? Roddy versus Gemini. Oh no, sorry, Gemini. He's for onside. Who am I thinking of? Is TLO still on Shopify? Am I crazy? He is. Let's get TLO versus Roddy. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. Oh my god. I was thinking of another managerial player. I'd be all for it. Roddy T, like, yeah, let's go. This new channel is really promising. You work hard a lot and you're always present on the events. And the cast is really passionate and pleasant. Thank you for that. No money this month for subscription, but we'll come. Oh, thank you. I do appreciate it. Gracias, Fermi. Gracias. Times go by so fast. Yeah, we have been around for a while. The reality is that even though we've been around, we've been casting for 6 years. We haven't really been getting too much attention. We've been working hard. Like we cast every day since the pandemic, since 2020. I mean, not every day since 2020. We've taken some days off from time to time, but yeah, we appreciate it whenever someone new finds us. We appreciate it, definitely. Thank you. We have been getting a little bit more momentum recently, viewership wise. Ever since the ESL qualifiers. Oh, do we have a picks? There it is. Lambo versus Serral. Here we go. The obvious pick. We didn't see anything too crazy. No wild Bjorn or Trigger or anything like that. Lambo versus Serral. This is going to be a close one. I don't envy the people going for predictions because I know that obviously Serral, his worst matchup is EVZ, but that doesn't mean he doesn't beat these players. Like we've seen Serral take down Solar, Lambo, Raynor. Like Serral, he's still damn good at this game. It isn't a sure thing, but here we go. In the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have Lambo for Shopify. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have Serral for Team Basilisk. Here we go. Here we go. Comes down to our ZVZ. Best of one. Lambo was popping off earlier, taking down Raynor 2-0. And we'll see if he can bamboozle Serral again, or Serral as well. Winding it back, again, Lambo basically went for a 1-base all-in, they got scouted. Sorry, I said one. Went for a 2-base all-in against Raynor, they got scouted, so Lambo had to kind of like pivot away from it, dealt economic damage, lured Raynor into droning up too much, and then Lambo finished him off with another all-in. And then game number 2 was on Equilibrium, and it was just Ling Bane battles. It was just it was gas first opener from Lambo into Lingbane Wars. Here on Golden Aura, it's a little bit different. Shorter rush distance by ground. A much shorter rush distance by ground that you can take advantage of. It doesn't take too long for an army to get across the map, so you have to be wary of that. So aggressive styles can be favored. In saying that, there is a lot of high ground. There is a big defender's advantage, especially at the third base. At the third base, it's a very narrow ramp going up into that third, so very difficult to push up into it. You have to rotate around instead. So the defender's advantage on this map is that much more boosted here because of Golden Aura. That is something to bear in mind. For now, hatch gas pool from both players, standard openers. No gas first. And we shouldn't be playing into two-base Roach. I do think that because of how defendable the third base can be, getting into three-base saturation is what you want to go for. But we'll see. For now, everything is looking normal. For now, we're just droning on up. And really, I'm just looking to see who blinks first. I'm, you know, who skips a Bailey Nest, who throws down a Roach Warren, who cuts workers. My eyes are on that production tab. For now, we have link speed on the way. Everything's still looking normal. This should be leading into a third base and into Banelings as well. The early game, we should be mirroring each other. There it is, the third base now being taken from both Cyril and Lambo. Standard build so far. Ling's going to be coming in. They get eyes on the third. Going to be nibbling away at it. Nothing too major. Bailey nests are thrown down for both players. No one is skipping Banelings. No one is rushing into Roaches. I do think that would be a mistake on this map. Just because of, again, how aggressive you can be. How quickly you can be aggressive, especially with Ling Bane. And again, so far, we're keeping up with each other. Droning, continuing. Lambo, he's making an extra pair of Lings. Nothing too notable, though. Just an extra pair. So we're still just focusing on saturating our bases. I expect to see faster Roach Warrens, though. I expect to see, once these Lings get cleaned up, we have seen players be quite fond of faster Roaches. And, oh, instead of a fast Roach Warren, Lambo going straight for the lair. Very fast lair. 3-minute 30 lair timing here from Lambo. Very curious to see what this is for. Meanwhile, there's that faster Roach Warren from Cyril. So Cyril is going to have faster Roaches. Lambo, a bit of a later Roach Warren, but with a fast lair, he can go into Roach speed. Or do something crazy, take 4 gases and go into Mutas. But now, both players are droning. Lambo doing a great job here at denying the scouting information. Cyril, he hasn't seen the fast lair. And with fast Roach speed, Lambo should be building up towards a push. Ooh, Cyril already making a wave of Roaches. And he is, yeah, he's cutting workers. Cyril is going all in. Cyril, he may nod it over towards the third base. He's making it look like he's droning, but he isn't. He's cutting workers at 37. Cyril is going to be the aggressor. Even though Lambo, he can go into faster Roach speed, he may be caught off guard. And the supply block. We have 3 overloads on the way. Lambo, he's droning. No. Lambo, he's still making workers. Going for a Spire of all things. Oh my god. This may just be it. This may just be it, as he's going 2-base Spire. Meanwhile, Cyril is going for a massive Roach push across the map. I assumed that this was going to be like fast, like Roach speed or something, but with this, Lambo should be giving up on his third. Roaches have arrived. And Cyril, he's doubling down. Like, this isn't just pressure. This is an all-in. He breaks through all those Banelings. Getting onto the hatchery as well. Lambo in a lot of trouble. He does have 1 Spine Crawler on the way. Oh, sorry. Apparently I'm ahead. Does have that 1 Spine Crawler on the way here. And here we go. The Baneling's going to be pushing towards that natural base. Baneling that's taking a lot of hits already. And Baneling is going to be going down. Behind this, Cyril is actually droning, but he's securing damage, getting a kill on that third. Lambo, even if he holds here at the natural, he is going to be falling behind. I mean, at least the Spire hasn't been scouted. But the Roach Warren's exposed, and it's going to be going down as well. Again, Lambo taking a big risk going 2-base Muta. high risk, high reward. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way. Baneling's going to be crashing on forward. There's 3 Banelings left. Up. We have 1 Baneling remaining. It goes down, and now Cyril, he can go for the kill. He can dive into the natural base. Boys are being pulled. And drones are going to be going down. We get on top of the queens. Cyril, he's breaking through. The mutas have been revealed. Back at home, Cyril is making queens. Should be getting spores ready. Again, Cyril, he's going to be running out of steam here, but he has done so much, killing 6 workers. He killed the Roach Warren, the Baneling Nest, and the 3rd base as well. You can see Lambo, he just leaned back. He just leaned back in his chair. He knows how dire the situation is. He may have mutas, but what can he really achieve with them? He's hunting down overlords, which is nice. He does have map control. But Lambo has a lot of droning to do. Meanwhile, Cyril can take this slow. Cyril, he just has to build up his queen count, get his spores up and running, turtle up on 3 bases, get up to 3 base saturation with all those gas geysers, and get into like a Hydra Den, or even just straight into something like a Hive Tech. Cyril has options. I say Hive Tech, like Infestation Pit into spellcasters like Vipers or Infestors. Lambo doubling down on muta production. It's all he can make, mutas. And Cyril, he's just fortifying himself back at home. Does lose a queen. Oh. Lambo, he's gaining some value here. Only getting 1 queen for the time being. Infestation Bit's on the way, and that's going to be for, again, Infestors for Fungals or just a Hive Tech to get into Vipers. I love that we have Burrow and Tunneling Claws on the way, so Cyril, even though he's being contained for the time being, he's soon about to hit the field with these roaches. He can soon harass across the map. And Mutaze catch another queen. Oh, trading a queen, 2 queens for a Muta. As we barely get on top of the Spore Crawler as well. Lambo pushing on forward. He's going for the dive. Can he reset the queen count? There's just so many queens, so many spores as well. Ay, ay, ay. We do get the spore in the end, but this is going to be a costly trade here for Lambo. He will get all 3 queens, and that triggers a counterattack. That does trigger a counterattack. Every single queen is going to fall. A handful of mutas make their way into the natural. The spore is done. Yeah, so yeah, GG gets... That's all we had left. That's all we could have accomplished. GG gets called, and Cyril will take the game, and he wins it all for himself, for his team, for Team Basilisk. GG, well played. Lambo trying to pull a fast one on Cyril, going 2 base, Muta, a little bit too greedy, and Cyril likewise, without even scouting, he had no idea what was happening, by the way. He just went into a fast Roach Warren, went for an all-in, and recognized, of course, that Lambo was being too greedy. Shut him down. GG. GG, well played. Cyril will win it all here. Again, as I mentioned before, a best of 1, anything can happen. And even though Cyril, he does struggle at times in ZVZ, able to have a dominant performance here. And with that, congratulations to Team Basilisk. Did go all the way to the ace match, so a big shout out to Shopify. Shopify Rebellion. Lambo was looking damn good. Lambo 2-0ing Raynor. I don't think many people expected that. I don't think many people expected a 2-0, so big shout out to Lambo. He may not have been able to take down Cyril, but he still did well today. Performed beautifully. Likewise, a shout out to Björn, of course. Harstem as well. Harstem, he may not have taken the game, but had a really fun series. Really fun series. I appreciate what he did on Razet Station. GG. GG, well played. With that, that is us wrapping up WTL for round 9. For the 9th week of WTL, we are about to have a look at the standings. The standings will soon be shown, and we can have a bit of a look at where the teams lie and what the playoff bracket could be looking like. For those wondering, I believe it's top 8. Top 8 teams make it into the playoffs, and we have 2 weeks left. It's 11 weeks in total of the round robin group stage, and this is week 9 done. 10 and 11 around the corner, and we've had a couple of interesting results coming in. Onside, of course, in first place. Shopify in second. And DKZ in third. Basilisk, they've been struggling a little bit. They have been struggling. And Basilisk, they were a top 2 team last season. They were top 2. but here they're in 4th place. Still secure when it comes to getting into the playoffs, but yeah, Shopify and DKZ, they've been popping off. Likewise, we have Team Liquid and Psystorm behind them. And at the bottom of the standings, the Starving Camels, I don't think they can make it into the playoffs. I don't think the Kwangdong Freaks can either. Kwangdong Freaks, they've also had a really rough season. They can still vie for standings, but they cannot make it into the playoffs. Instead, it comes down to some of these other teams like Mystery Gaming, Maturino, Platinum Heroes, Starlight Twinkle, Psystorm, Team Liquid. A lot of these teams are still pretty close and neck, and depending on what happens in these next 2 weeks, we can see a shakeup of the standings, a shakeup of who makes it and who doesn't. Oh boy. Here we go. But yeah, with that, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We appreciate the support. If you want to support us even further, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're on all things CranKy Ducklings. And we even have a YouTube channel as well. So all of our VODs are uploaded to YouTube. Exclamation mark YouTube in the chat. Where we do upload on a daily basis. We've been uploading on a daily basis for a long time, and we got a lot of content on YouTube. So if you can't tune in live, we got you covered there. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. We're going to be live in less than 24 hours with ESL Urban Cup Asia. That's our next broadcast tomorrow with ESL Asia. And I may be casting with Chicken Man. Chicken Man, he messaged me yesterday and he was like, yo, I can't cover ESL Americas this week. Do you want to co-cast Asia? I'm like, let's go. So we'll have a co-caster for ESL Urban Cup Asia tomorrow. So yeah, with that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for the support. Big shout out to Kuro as well. Kuro has been handling the production. We apologize for some of the buffering. The clean feed has been having some issues, but thankfully it wasn't as bad as yesterday. Yesterday was brutal. But with that, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Urban Cup Asia. Until then, hasta luego. See you then.